We have a place for every kind of mover. The Sometimer, the early riser, the after-work grinder, the yogi, lifter, bodybuilder, walker, runner, swimmer, spinner, stretcher, rower, climber, jumper, dancer, boxer, sauna seeker, recoverer. Basically, if you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong at InShape. So whether it's your first time or your first time in a while, start the year strong and join today at InShape.com. Find a location nearest to you.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo, March 5th through March 8th. Hundreds of boats and RVs, all in one place. From wakeboard boats and pontoon boats to motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, sprinter vans, plus fishing boats and ATVs. It's 2 huge shows, 1 massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at twohugeshows.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson. Online at SactownSports.com or on the app. Kings, Niners, and Sacramento. The Matt and Kayla Show starts now.
Oh, boy. Anything happened last night?
I didn't hear.
No?
I think maybe something
Pretty
happened.
quiet night, personally.
Very quiet.
Kings game ended. Typical post-game press conference. Hopped in my car, went home. Did an episode of the Matt George podcast. Sure. Went to sleep. Slept wonderfully.
Slept like a baby.
And now we're here. 10 a.m. The Friday edition of Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports. I am Matt George. My co-host Kayla Anderson is innocent. Leave her alone. And then we've got Anthony on the other side of the glass today, filling in for Kyle, who is partying at a wedding. Anthony, shout out you for being around today. You picked the doozy to be here, my friend. All right. Let's get into it. After last night's loss, the 50th loss of the season for the now 14-50 Sacramento Kings, Russell Westbrook took to the podium and let his voice be heard. Was truly Russell Westbrook. Mm-hmm. And what I started my podcast with is the same thing I actually want to start this show with today, which is working in a public forum. It's a two-way street. How can I, in any sort of way, say things critical about a player, about how they're playing, about a basketball team, and take issue with or not expect criticism back in an equally public forum? What Russell Westbrook addressed towards me, what he addressed towards Chris Biederman of the Sacramento Bee, James Ham, Jason Anderson, kinda, was completely in his right, his prerogative to do so. And if people want to debate whether or not he should have handled that publicly or privately different, I don't really care, truth be told. I've seen a lot of messages over the last 12 or so hours, things that I can forget about, things that I can move on from. One thing that I have seen that I want to make sure to address and to handle is this, and I've already seen it in our comment section today. There's no victim mentality here. I have been the most critical voice of Russell Westbrook in this city, without a doubt. On social media, on this show, on the Matt George podcast, on podcasts before I started working here in January. But it especially got louder, as Kayla can attest to. It's especially gotten louder over the last month and some change, when I have been full-on team young guys. Veterans should barely be playing, and if they're playing, their prerogative should be to complement the young guys in whatever way possible. And Russell Westbrook has been the most common example I've used because of the fact that he still is playing a lot of minutes. I believe, I do have the box score in front of me. I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook played the most minutes of the Sacramento. No, I'm sorry. Precious Achiuwa did at 41. I want to make sure that's accurate. Russell Westbrook played 34. Precious Achiuwa played 41. Had 29 last night, by the way. Precious played well again.
He's been playing well.
And taking a lot of the times the most shots, which, again, Precious Achiuwa did that last night. DeRozan took 16. Russ took 15 last night. This has always been a conversation about the veterans, not about Russ. But Russ has been the most common example that I have brought up. So, I do not take issue whatsoever with Russell Westbrook coming after me and addressing me in the way he did in that game. There are certainly, or after that game, there are certainly things that I am confused about. I think a lot of people are confused about because there weren't specific examples of what he was talking about directly. I expected there to be frustration towards me because of the things I've said about him and his playing time and his shot selection. However, he made sure to express that this wasn't about him. It was about the team. And that's the part that confuses me, because he mentioned me talking about his intent. He's mentioned things being said, false narratives being spun up about the team, and he's there to protect the team and the young guys. And that's confusing to me personally because, again, my whole point of the remainder of the season has been pro-young guys. Devin Carter did not play last night. I have no clue why, and it bothered me that he didn't play. I actually asked Doug Christie about it after the game. Kayla, we're going to go back and forth. There's a ton of things to react to, a ton of things to say. But what I want to lay out perfectly clear here is, again, Russ is 100% entitled to do that. I don't think I am above that in any kind of way. I will own everything that I say. Everything that I say has a face to it, has a name on it. I'm not hiding behind a fake profile picture on Twitter or anything like that. It's everything me. And I come from the background of covering the Sacramento Kings for 10 years and being a fan of this team and growing up in this city my entire life. My passion for the Sacramento Kings is second to pretty much nothing in my life. And that passion leads to great moments, leads to certainly bad takes. I've had plenty of those too. I will not apologize or walk back anything that I have said critically about Russell Westbrook, the basketball player, and how I don't believe that he brings much to this team at this point other than showing by example the young guys how to play. I've complimented how beneficial I feel he's been for Maxime Reynaud in particular as the point guard to Max being a center. I've talked a lot about the Russell Westbrook experience, the highs and lows of that. I own everything that I say. I would love to hear what he thinks that I said or what I did say that I am not aware of or cannot comprehend or recall that he felt was personal. There's never, ever been anything that I've said personally about Russell Westbrook. In fact, I've defended him in two facets. Number one, I've never, ever, ever, ever subscribed to this idea that he's a cancer in the locker room. That was a narrative that came out of his time in LA, and I've never heard it, and I've said that repeatedly on this show. I do not believe he's a cancer to that locker room at all. In fact, Russ said the things that he said last night in his mind to protect that locker room. I respect the hell out of that. The other part is, sorry, and I'll wrap up because I'm rambling here. The other element is the only time I've ever mentioned anything personal life to do with Russell Westbrook was when that story came out earlier this season about family members getting horrible messages because of gambling and Russ not playing, which I think is absolutely disgusting, vile behavior and is not acceptable in any kind of way. So I want to make sure to lay that out, and then we can talk through everything that happened. But I'm sure you woke up to it this morning.
I did. After watching the game last night, I went to bed and I woke up to obviously a text from you, and kind of I looked at the presser and saw it with my own eyes, like what happened. I just wanted to understand it. And I'll speak on both sides. In terms of the athlete side, I don't think there was anything wrong with Russ addressing some sort of issue that he had with not only you, but it seems like the media as a whole, like us as a whole, because players have the right to do that. And they're frustrated. And I get that, as are we as media members and fans who get to voice their opinions all the time.
Right.
We voice it on social media. We trash, like, I'm not saying we, but I'm saying people trash players. And they don't always have the opportunity to come back and ask why, or say, we have an opinion on this. Why did you say this? So I understand where Westbrook was coming from. Something was frustrating him.
Yep.
And you saw that from the moment he sat down at the podium. And either something was frustrating him or something with the team that he decided to be the spokesperson for. And Russ has had this in the past where he's spoken out with the media. Mind you, he did say that this was not the worst media that he has ever had to deal with.
It's probably the easiest.
So that's good, because you guys are, in terms of people who've been here a long time, a pretty nice media, I'd have to say, and pretty respectful. But when he specifically pointed you out, Matt, I think my first question was, okay, I've seen this before. It happened in Tennessee with a coworker of mine and Jeffrey Simmons, and it happened live on air when he was on a radio show at training camp. And Jeff handled it in a lot different, intense way, and Russ, I felt, was handling it in a mature way and had some questions for you. And at the time, no one's in that spot. No one can tell you how to feel or how to respond at the time. You're not in that position. So first and foremost, I think we got to give the situation a little grace, because nobody understands what it's like to be in that position. And if you do, I'd love to hear from you and how you handled it. The biggest thing I have, question-wise, for the whole situation, Matt, is what was ticking him off? What was the specific incident that happened, or what was said specifically that made Russ feel he had to come and address the media?
Yeah.
That, again, I feel that was fine to do. So that was my first question. What exactly happened? And did you at any point, Matt, feel like you could have maybe asked Russ, hey, Russ, what in particular should or could I do better? And what was it that you're trying to exactly say to me? Yeah,
that's a great question. And that's probably the most common comment that I've seen, or criticism that I've seen directed my way. Which, by the way, what I'm getting is a fraction of what an NBA player gets. So, again, there's no victim mentality here whatsoever. Believe me, there's not. Part of me does regret not, in that moment, grabbing the microphone. And I did have a back and forth with Russ. We actually were the ones that started it. He was asking me if I was in practice, and I said no, because I haven't been recently, but I had plenty of times at the beginning of the season. I've been in multiple media scrums where I've asked Russell Westbrook questions. We've never had an issue, but obviously the issues are more recent. I am not in film session because, duh.
We're not allowed to.
None of us are, right? I don't know Russell Westbrook personally. I know Russell Westbrook, the player, and the personality from the outside perspective, like almost everybody who calls themselves an NBA fan does. But that was the back and forth that I had with him. Part of me does wish that maybe I had taken the mic and maybe I had taken that opportunity to ask him the questions directly. I personally felt at the time, one, caught completely off guard, but that's not an excuse. Again, he has every right. That's his forum and his time to say things, so I should not be surprised to hear things, but caught off guard, number one. But number two, I personally felt at that moment that me grabbing that microphone and going back and forth would not have gone well for either of us, but especially not for me. And if people want to call that cowardly, if people want to call that whatever they want to call it, that's fine. That's their prerogative to do so. I can tell you and tell everybody that's listening that I have reached out to hopefully be able to set up or try to set up a one-on-one with Russell Westbrook, to be able to talk to him when there's not a camera on, when there's not a microphone there, where I can't be accused of using this for clicks and for like a reputation boost or a fame or anything. I have zero interest in anything like that. But I would love to have a conversation with Russ, because if there is something, truly, if there is something that crossed the line of basketball criticism, which I do not believe I've ever crossed, but if there is something that I said that he took issue with, I would like to know what it is so that we can get there. I also am going to continue to cover the team the way that I cover the team. I'm going to be there at every single game, going to be there Sunday. So that's not changing, and I think I would much rather there not be a awkwardness to it. I don't know if Russ feels the same way. It's totally up to Russ. I will do my due diligence to try and have a conversation with him. If he said everything he needed to say to me and he intentionally did it in the public forum to prove his point, that's his prerogative to do so. Again, if y'all listening want to be critical and want to say, Matt, you could have said it to his face right then and there, you're right. I could have. I chose not to in the moment because I didn't think it would be beneficial. And I then went home and addressed everything on the podcast calmly because I thought that would be the best way to handle this situation. I don't know if that's the right way to handle it. I've never been through anything like this before, but that was what I thought would be the best thing to do to not make an ass out of myself and to not get anybody else or myself in any deeper trouble and to handle things as professionally as possible. I'm not perfect, and we'll see where it goes from here. I hope I get the opportunity to talk to Russ, but if I don't, and we continue on this, I stand by all the things that I said. I stand by what I've said repeatedly, that I hope Russell Westbrook is not on this team next year, not because I hate Russell Westbrook or anything like that. I don't. But because I don't think Russell Westbrook is the right point guard for this god-awful team that in my mind is the worst Kings team in history. And it's crazy to say that with a roster featuring guys like Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan.
So I wanted to comment on just the steps that you've taken to try to get a little bit more clarity. Because I think in all of this, that's fair for you to want. And I don't even know, what Westbrook exactly was trying to hash out. Because, again, the details weren't there and you didn't ask him that, which you say maybe I should have. Mm-hmm. But I will say this, Matt, I understand the point of maybe you did not want to go back and forth in a setting that may not have benefited either of you. When this incident happened that I witnessed, and I'm only sharing this, guys, because I'm trying to share that this has happened before and this is how it was handled. When that incident was happened with Jeffrey Simmons and one of my coworkers at my old radio station, it happened live on air, and the host was getting kind of berated. Mm-hmm. And he said, look, let's have this conversation off air. Let's have this conversation. And it went on for a minute. And to his credit, they got off air. He went to Titans PR. He said, I would love to have a convo with Jeff on the side at some point. Let's hash it out. Credit to Titans PR. They went over. They got Jeffrey Simmons. They offered him the opportunity to go talk one-on-one with this radio host. And they went and hashed it out in the corner. And bygones begot bygones. And the two, they don't have to love each other. Mm-hmm. I don't still think Jeffrey Simmons and him love each other. But Jeffrey respected the fact that they had the conversation and they both were able to say what they wanted to say. So I respect you for going through the channels to try to further trying to fix what the situation is. And maybe it won't be. But at least you did that. And to Russ's credit, he had something on his mind. He felt like he had the time to get it out. And I thought he handled it, for the most part, professionally as an athlete, because I've seen it done in many different ways. Mm-hmm.
I want to address a comment here in the comment section from Manazit. He said, Matt, you said on your podcast last night that you can imagine what it was. Kind of makes you seem like you know exactly what it was. Like I said earlier, I have been the most critical voice of Russell Westbrook, at least recently, in this city, specifically to do with his playing time, his shot selection. I don't want to see him playing. In fact, I thought the best game the Sacramento Kings have played in a long time was the game in Dallas, where Russell Westbrook did not play. Devin Carter got the opportunity to start. The young guys played really hard, played really well in that game, and they won that game. We could even go back to the Cleveland Cavaliers game here in Sacramento, where the Kings took the Cavs to the absolute limit in that game. And I was pissed. In fact, I titled the podcast afterwards, the ending of that Kings game pissed me off because it was Dylan Cardwell and Maxime Reynaud and Devin Carter. Those were the guys that were leading the charge in that game and were playing so well in that game. And Doug Christie ended the game putting Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan back in the game, and both of those guys took all but one of the last 5 shots or something like that. By the way, last night's game, nobody outside of DeMar DeRozan or Russell Westbrook took a shot in the first 4.5 minutes. That's the stuff that I've always had problems with. So to address Manizit's comment, that's what I believe he took issue with. What I do not understand or I do not know is the narrative spin or the anything that he thought was personal that was never intended to be personal. That's what I don't know.
Sure.
That's what I would love to get context on. He does not owe me an explanation. He can interpret what I say however he wants to interpret it. That's his right. That's his prerogative. That's all I can do. But that's what I thought the issue would be, is the commentary about the playing time. The other potential route that it could go is maybe it has to do with the tanking conversation. Because, again, the one thing that Russ really directed at me, a lot of the stuff he actually directed at other people that I think had to do with me. But the one thing he directed at me was he said, because I said, I comment on your basketball team. And he said, no, you comment on my intent. And that confused me because... But
real quick, but he said it wasn't specifically about him?
He said that later when talking to another media member.
Okay,
he didn't say that at that time. But he said something about my intent behind it. Mm-hmm. And the two things that I thought of are, number one, was there a comment made, and there very well could have been a comment made, that Russell Westbrook is out there to get his numbers, to chase these milestones. DeMar DeRozan hit another milestone last night, passing Steph Curry in the all-time scoring list, 19th all-time, milestones like that we've been seeing all season long. So maybe he interpreted that as me suggesting that he's out there for himself and nobody else, and he doesn't give a damn about the team. If that is what it is, then I'd happily say that that's not my intention whatsoever. I don't believe that at all. I believe Russ wants to be a leader of that group. I also believe Russell Westbrook, who he naturally is give me the ball and get the hell out of the way, because that's who Russ has been his entire career. And as you pointed out in a conversation we had last week, to expect him to be anything different in Sacramento is foolish, especially for a bad team like the Kings. So I understand that. The other part of the conversation, or the other thing that could have to do with intent, is very recently we've started talking about a term that I kind of meant in jest, but the immoral tanking. Last night, the Kings had a lineup out there. I'm going to see if I can find it. They had a lineup out there where this was the first time where I was like, okay, yeah, the Sacramento Kings are big-time tanking. It was Malik Monk, Daquan Plowden, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Doug McDermott, and Drew Eubanks. Mm-hmm. That was the five that was out there for a decent stretch of last night's game. And I was like, here's the immoral tank. And I say that in jest because I firmly believe that for the first 50-some-odd games of the season, the Sacramento Kings were not trying to lose every single game. I just think they were terrible. I just think they were really bad. So if Russ takes issue with the immoral tank comment, or me suggesting or spinning this narrative that the Kings are intentionally trying to lose, I guess I understand where he got there. I don't think that's a me-specific thing, and is that even that wrong to say? Because it's in the best interest of the Sacramento Kings organization to lose games right now. Those are the only two things I can think of. Again, if there's something else, I would love to know what it is, but I can't pretend to know. Yeah. So hopefully I get the opportunity to talk to Russ, and I will make the effort to talk to Russ. I'm not hiding. I'm going to be at every single game. And if he wants to talk, great. If he doesn't, that's totally fine too.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
But you're, like you said, you're going to, and we had off-air conversations about this, you're going to try to do your best to find that out, because really you can't ever move the conversation and advance this conversation forward until we actually know what the hell we're talking about. We could sit here for 4 hours and guess all day what particular situation or conversation that this was, and clearly there was a conversation or there was a clip that was seen, because we all know that everything gets out on X or, whatever it might be, the podcast or the show. Who knows what was said to him or what he saw. But the one thing that I also, and maybe it's a couple things, Matt. I mean, the one thing that I also was wondering, and I don't remember who he had said this to, because he was kind of talking with all of you guys, or a few of you guys, Biederman and Ham and you, was the conversation about, there's There's guys in here that are questioning things about themselves when there was a little comment about like questioning other things when it should just be about basketball. I think that's a comment too that I kind of perked my ears up a little bit about like, what could that mean? But again, we could ask all day what this meant, but until you are able to really have that conversation, it's hard to really put a pin on it.
Yeah, and I have again zero interest whatsoever in being shock jock commentator that says anything personally or outside of basketball in any kind of way that does anything like that's. I don't have any interest in doing that. I want the Sacramento Kings to be good because I'm a Sacramento Kings fan and I want to continue to be passionate. I'm very grateful for the platforms that I've had and that I've built to be able to do this for a living. That's my intent. And addressing another comment, it says, or where was it? It went away. Again, someone saying, like, Matt, it seems like Russ is clearly saying, it's obvious that you think you know what his intent is. To clear the air and put it out perfectly clear, here's what I think Russell Westbrook's intent is here in Sacramento. I think Russell Westbrook's intent, because he's told us this directly, is to continue to play the game that he loves.
Yeah.
I think he signed in Sacramento or was happy to come to Sacramento because it's closer to home. Although I firmly believe, and I've said this publicly and I'll continue to say this, Zach LaVine, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan. If you gave any three of them the option to play elsewhere right now, I think all three of them would take it. And I feel pretty confident that if Russell Westbrook had a whole lot of opportunities outside of Sacramento before this summer, he would have gone there instead of choosing the Sacramento Kings. I believe that wholeheartedly. Maybe I'm wrong on that. That's my read on the situation based off of conversations that I've had and being in and out of the building. But I believe Russ's intent is, while I'm here, while I'm still in the NBA, I'm going to play and be the same person I've always been. I'm going to bust my ass. I'm going to play hard. I'm going to talk smack. I'm going to be me. And I'm, along the way, going to pull Maxime Reynaud aside. This is something I pointed out after the game against Phoenix on Tuesday. He pulls Max aside all the time and coaches him up. Mm-hmm. He pulls Nick aside all the time and coaches him up.
I'll say this. You've said that quite a bit on the show.
That's what I believe Russ's intent is. I don't think Russell Westbrook is here because it's F Sacramento and F everybody. This is my team now. I don't believe that at all. If I've ever insinuated that, I did not intend to. But I do not believe at this point in time it is good for the Sacramento Kings, or for Russell Westbrook for that matter, to be here in Sacramento. I just don't think it's not the right fit. They're not on the same page. This organization is moving in a completely different direction, and it would be in the best interest, in my mind, of the Kings to not play Russell Westbrook much or in limited capacity and have him defer to the younger guys like we've seen DeMar DeRozan do at least a little bit recently. That's what I think would be the best case scenario for this organization. That ain't changing with anything that Russ said or didn't say last night. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, people are going to have their opinions. People have their right to their opinion, just like you have. I have my right to my opinions, and you do on this show. This is actually the beauty of the world we live in, as cheesy as that might sound. That's what, sports talk conversations are for. And unfortunately, right now, when things are so rough, when, this team isn't winning games, fans are freaking frustrated. We're frustrated as a media.
Boy.
I would way rather cover a winning team, but we don't get to pick those situations. And it actually challenges us as commentators, as broadcasters, as journalists, as radio talk show hosts to be better. And we're going to, in the midst of things like this, hard seasons, frustrations, we're going to mess up sometimes too. And sometimes it takes a player calling us out.
Yeah. 100%.
To check ourselves a little, right?
1,000%.
And that's okay too. All I wish for in this situation for you and Russ, Matt, and whatever, I'm speaking from the heart here. I'm transparent as they come. I hope for your guys' sake you can have a conversation.
I hope so too.
Because I freaking love Russell Westbrook and he's non-apologetically himself, and you are too. And you guys deserve to have that conversation. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, I hope it will happen, and I will pursue it, hopefully Sunday versus Chicago, or if Russ is interested. If not, I'm not going to create a scene. I truly, everybody out there, I do not matter that much. I am a talking head. You're damn right I am. But I'm here in Sacramento talking about the team that I love, and I'll continue to do that. Jacob, Pool Guy, Marcus, see you guys on hold. We'll get to you in the next segment. We can continue this conversation. It's going to continue throughout the entire day. I know why y'all are here. But we also can talk about, the game last night, there were some things that I was not happy to see or very curious to see about playing time with the veterans. Shocking. That ain't changing. We'll talk about that and more. Matt and Kayla are just getting started here on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Have you tried my Colombian tamales?
Yes, but the Mexican tamales I brought are way better.
Colombian tamales wrapped in plantain leaves are unmatched, you know.
But the Mexican tamales wrapped in corn husks are the authentic ones.
At least we can agree that they taste better with Pepsi.
Without a doubt, tamales deserve Pepsi. No matter what tamales you love, enter for a chance to win a year's worth of groceries. Powered by Pepsi. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or over. Ends April 5th, 2026. Rules at pepsipromo.com/free groceries. Pepsi is a registered trademark of Pepsi Co. Inc.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sepp Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sepp Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sactown Sports 1140.
So my friends over at Pure Talk have been sending me customer feedback from consumeraffairs.com, where thousands of people rate and review the top wireless providers. Here, for instance, is a nice note from James in Raleigh, North Carolina, who writes, quote, "After hearing Mike Rowe's ad, we made the switch to Pure Talk, and we couldn't be happier. We went from spending $1,200 a year with T-Mobile to $420 with Pure Talk. Thanks, Mike. Switch today!" Exclamation point. Pure Talk is saving James $820 a year. And because he literally wrote the words "switch today" in capital letters with an exclamation point, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this commercial to him. So folks, take it from James in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pure Talk can give you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on the same 5G service the big guys are overcharging you for. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. You'll also save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 to save an additional 50%. Thanks, James.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo March 5th through March 8th. It's 2 huge shows, one massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at twohugeshows.com.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Party, Chris Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Line dancing, mechanical bulls, and food trucks. Make it a lucky night out of live country music and dancing for your crew. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Residents in Cal Expo and Gornick Academy. More info at CITBfest.com.
If you're serious about your golf game, then you need to know about Total Game Fitting at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Whether it's the TrackMan-powered player performance studio for your best fit clubs, or the cutting-edge technology putter fitting studio, or the free Ballnamic ball fitter and 3D foot scanner, the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop offers you total game fitting from head to toe with equipment and apparel. Find your advantage at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop with the latest offering of new golf products in Northern California. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
I didn't know this, but if you ask the text line, apparently I did a lot of crying last night.
Wait, what?
Yeah, apparently I don't recall crying, but apparently...
Cried on camera?
According to them, I was weeping. I was weeping like I'd just seen, what's that really sad dog movie? Marley and Me?
Oh, Marley and Me,
oh,
yeah.
Gushing tears.
You know, I have cried, though, when I've had to say farewells, like, on air.
Oh.
Like TV. Because, you know, y'all know me. If you don't by now, I've been...
Everywhere.
I'm the MILB, like the major, what is it called?
Minor.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. I'm like the ladder.
Yeah.
I've been through the ladder.
She been around.
So every time I would go to my next destination, it would be me having to give my goodbyes at the end. And I get emotional.
Yeah. Well,
I wear my heart on my sleeve sometimes.
We're so glad you're here in Sacramento. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. So no crying though from you.
You get to host a show with me. Jacob wants, I'm sure, to weigh in on everything going on. Jacob, either how are you or be nice.
Good morning, Matt and Kayla. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I've been better, but I'm doing fine.
Good. Okay, I'm calling in. I mean this I have a question, but I mean it as respectful as possible to you, Matt. Don't mean it to come across as rude, but I'm just gonna be honest about. I listen to 1140 all day. I'm pretty big on Kings Twitter, Kings Reddit, and I'm just curious. I have a question.
Yeah.
Just seeing that, I know it's your guys' job to ask questions and everything, but Matt, you specifically have our reporters here. You tend to kind of be the loudest, if that makes sense. Like, I've seen on Twitter, you're very you've been vocal of Westbrook. You've just admitted that. Yeah. You blocked fans on Twitter. You posted fans on Twitter from Reddit, trying to be like, I got you. You still talk about Fox and Brown, even though they're gone.
Yep.
I guess my question is, are you genuinely surprised to see this come up? Because from the perspective of fans that follow along, it seemed like, and I mean this as respectful as possible, it seemed like it was just a matter of time.
Yeah. No, Jacob, I hear that. No, I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, because the way it started with Russ coming after me again, I thought it was specifically about the criticisms that I've already laid out about the playing time and shot selection and too many shots and things of that nature. So no, to be honest with you, I had seen this coming, and I do feel it was only a matter of time. I can speak to, and I addressed this on the podcast a little bit last night too, as many people who have been following my content for a while know, the switch flipped for me months before Russell Westbrook was here. The switch flipped for me the day that Mike Brown was fired, because I felt a certain type of way about that, both as someone who had a friendship, a relationship with Mike Brown, but also someone who has, as a Sacramento Kings fan, been here through 20 years of garbage and 20 years of a revolving door of head coaches. So that started the negativity to where I quite literally started my podcast that day after Mike was fired, in the way that he was fired, by the way, which I thought was completely classless and unprofessional by the organization, that I thought, welcome back to basketball hell, essentially. And I hate to say that I was right, and there is no joy in being right, Jacob, but that's essentially how it's been. I didn't necessarily have a side on the team Fox versus the team Sacramento by the time everything ended, but I certainly picked a side on the Zach LaVine trade being horrible for the Kings, and lo and behold, it has been that. So, Jacob, you're 100% right. It has skewed negative for the vast majority of the last, let's say, year and a half, and that is going to come back to bite me at some point. I take no joy in that. Those who have been following me for even longer know that I used to be known as the blind optimist around here who would get in trouble for being too positive about things. So I've been on both sides. And all I can promise you is authenticity based off of a frustration or a joy of being amongst y'all and being a Sacramento Kings fan my entire life and being lucky enough to turn that love that I have for a game and an organization and a team into a career. And I try and just be as authentic as possible, and authenticity will lead to moments like this. Jacob, I hope that was a long-winded explanation or response to your question. You're 100% right, and I do appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, sure. And I guess just maybe one more question. If you had to take away anything or learn from the experience of the last year and a half, like you said, what would that be?
I'm sorry. Say it one more time. Something caught my eye in the comment section. Say that one more time.
Yeah, if you had to take away anything from, like you just said, like the last year and a half, the way it's all played out, what would it be if you had to take away one learning moment up until this?
For me personally?
Yeah.
Maybe think before you speak. There have been times, Jacob, thank you so much for the call. Yeah, I mean, there have been times where it's been raw reaction to turning on a microphone, turning on a camera and going, or turning and sitting in this chair and going, and something popping into my brain and saying it. And that absolutely can get you in trouble. That's also, that authenticity is what's, I feel, gotten me here, gotten me to this point. But listen, as people know from freaking music videos that I've made about certain players that were taken number 2 overall that should not have been taken, I'm going to be wrong a large portion of the time. And I'm okay with that. I genuinely am okay with that, because it's all based in who I am and what I believe for this city and for this fan base that I'm connected to. But if any fans are sick and tired of it, or any fans are Team Russ in this whole situation, look, I don't blame you one bit. All I can promise is be authentically me. And what's important to being authentically me is to not insult players or do anything that crosses that personal line. So, again, I hope to have a conversation with Russ to know if I did cross that line and make sure to correct that, because that's not who I am, or that's not who I want to be. But at the same time, from the basketball standpoint, you're damn right I'm going to continue to be critical, because I should be.
Yeah, I'll say this. Being in this business for so long, I've not been in radio my whole career. And, graduating with a broadcast journalism degree, there's so many differences in our business. There's the journalism part, where is maybe more so the paper and, this, like the Sacramento Bee type of writer. And then there's the TV personality, where I spent most of my years being a TV sports journalist / reporter, anchor, sideline reporter, where there is a little more journalism with it, not as many opinions. There's more storytelling that's involved. And then there's the radio side of things. And radio is a little different from those. Radio is sometimes us giving opinions that might not be popular, or maybe, because we have a 4-hour show in a really difficult season. And when you cover your city's main sport, main team, it can get difficult. I'm not going to lie. And I'm trying to poo-poo or like whine, but it is hard sometimes to find ways to talk about the team and to advance the conversation. And radio is just such a unique platform. And it does then give us opportunities to sometimes do some things creatively. Some people might not like them. Some people will. But it's hard sometimes, because you're talking for 4 hours, and some of the stuff you say, sometimes you forget.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was in the heat of the moment, and you're going, and you get kind of caught up in your feelings sometimes. And so I get that part of it too, but you're putting yourself out there to not be attacked, but be challenged. And whether that's challenged by players or challenged by listeners. And that's why I feel like this is a new show, but I feel like we love when you guys call in, or we love when you're in the chat. And now, Matt, you just had a different type of experience with the player, but we all learn from these moments.
Let me tell you, when Russell Westbrook is staring down the barrel at you, it's a new kind of experience. I understand I don't know if I'd ever want to take a charge from that man, let me tell you. But that's who I believe Russell Westbrook to be. And I'm not surprised by it. And I don't think he did anything wrong. I really don't. I also don't think I did anything wrong.
No.
At all. So that's essentially where it's at. Pool Guy Mark wants to jump in here as well. What's up, Pool Guy Mark?
Hey, just 2 points, I guess. Number one, I follow different cities and so forth, and have different teams I like. This isn't Chicago or New York. I feel like this team, organization, players would be eaten alive on a daily basis in a big city. And for the most part, I think, we're pretty professional. Our media is almost too nice. It's kind of refreshing that, that you do call out obvious things. And the second point is, it's just a tough dilemma. You have, fans, people who care about this organization. I think we realize that DeRozan, Westbrook, they're not going to be the future of our team, and if they're young players and they're taking all these shots and the team is horrible, and you can live with that, but you're watching these guys on their last leg, great, respectful guys take all these shots, and I'm at these games, and it's kind of head scratching, and it's just kind of a dilemma where they're playing basketball, but the other dilemma is as an organization, you want to lose the game. So I don't know if it's just a problem with the lottery. I don't really have the answer, but it's just a dilemma where you kind of want to lose, honestly. If you're really a fan of the Kings, if you're being honest with yourself, you want a great draft pick. And then how do you tell these players to tone it down? He's just kind of doing, both you guys are just frustrated, I think, I kind of liked it. It was kind of refreshing to have something. I'm like, all right, about time, it was real. I don't think anyone should be ashamed of what happened, or I actually think this is a positive thing, really. So thanks.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Because in the moment, oh boy, I just felt like I was about to lose a game of one-on-one, which I would lose badly, of course, in a game of one-on-one to Russell Westbrook. It was, I'll tell you, it was not fun, but it's not going to be the last time that it happens, I think. So it is what it is. I appreciate all the feedback, negative, positive, critical, whatever. It's good for me. I'm certainly not above it. And we move forward. We move on. And that's
all you can do.
It's the same thing we're going to do on this show. We'll take a little break from this conversation because we got Q&K, Kayla's question on this Friday.
I'm AI now too.
Oh, you're AI Kayla? Okay.
I got the now title AI. That's right.
She's AI Kayla.
Right? At least I'm advancing things in the future.
That's true. Coming up at 11 o'clock, CBS 13's Jake Gaden is going to join us. Now, initially, I was going to have Jake on. He was at the game last night, and we were going to talk about fan attendance. That was actually going to be the topic of my podcast because I thought attendance
took a turn.
Attendance was down and fan interest was down, and I was ready to defend the fans because it's not a poor reflection on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything happened, and that went out the window. We'll discuss that with Jake, but I have a feeling Jake is going to want to say some things as well. He was in the room when Russell Westbrook said what Russ said last night. So we'll talk to him coming up at 11 o'clock. Q&K is next. You're listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Capital Casino is conveniently located in downtown, 411 16th Street, and has been a part of the greater Sacramento area for over 20 years. They offer the best variety of games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. And there's plenty of parking, all well lit and monitored by security. Come have a great meal at the cafe and restaurant inside. Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. But please always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
To 15-year-old Harper, buying an $80 vintage rock t-shirt is a great investment. To Harper's mom, this logic has a few holes in it. So she helped Harper open a Wells Fargo Clear Access banking account. With no overdraft fees and tools to track spending, Harper's learning, one heavy metal tee at a time. However you make money work, Wells Fargo can work with that.
Terms apply. Visit wellsfargo.com/deposit disclosures for fees and details.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Good morning from Sierra. Spring has sprung. We are seeing classic bluebird conditions throughout the week, so make sure to bring your sunblock and shades. With warmer temps comes softer snow and variable conditions, so please ski and ride with care. Mark your calendars for Sierra's signature Grub Tour, Saturday, March 7th. Explore our various dining options at the resort to taste and rate their bite-sized treat. See you out there.
Ride more, stress less. Sierra Tahoe is your closest, most affordable mountain escape from Sacramento or the Bay Area. From powder days to park laps, every run delivers that signature Sierra vibe. Real, friendly, and fun. Season passes start at $459 and save up to 40% on lift tickets and lessons when you book online in advance. Skip the long drive and high prices. Plan your trip today at SierraAtTahoe.com. That's SierraAtTahoe.com.
Founded in Northern Ireland, PRG has grown from humble beginnings to become the top brand in custom golf accessories for most of the world's top 100 golf courses. PRG offers original designs as well as Arnold Palmer, Folds of Honor, Collegiate License, and Major League Baseball product designs. PRG is the official supplier of the Ryder Cup. PRG is available at major golf shops, or PRG makes it easy to purchase directly for your individual use at prg-golf.com.
Spring is here, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings, plus get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
It's time for Q&K. Kayla's got questions. We've got answers. It's Q&K on Matt and Kayla.
Okay, AI Kayla. That's what they're calling you now,
Yes. Matthew,
Yes.
I am here to answer all of your questions.
That's pretty good. It
It's
is
so
time
funny
for
because it's
Q
like,
and K.
yeah, it's like they know us so well, don't they? When you tune in for 2 seconds of the broadcast,
Hey.
man,
They're experts. But hey, I'm an expert in basketball, right?
Yeah.
That's why I say the things I say about Russ.
Let's go.
Because I sure know what I'm talking about. It is time for Q and K every Monday and Friday. If you're new to the show, Kayla brings a question to the table, and it could have anything to do with sports or other things. Typically, it's sports related. What is the Q and K question of the day, Miss Kayla Anderson?
All right, my question for today goes like this. We're going to turn to college basketball. We are getting closer to conference tournament time that then leads into one of my favorite times of the year, which is March Madness. So right now, Miami of Ohio, their college basketball team is 30-0.
Pretty crazy.
On the season. They have one more regular season game left, and then they will enter the MAC tournament. If they lose one more game, though, let's say they lose the final regular season game, or they lose a game in the tournament, should they still get into the dance, the NCAA tournament? Because right now it's kind of a heated debate amongst the national audience, and I say that for the fact that they have one of the weakest schedules that they have played in college basketball. They have played the 364th ranked weakest non-conference schedule.
Oof.
And so that always plays into tournament time. And then obviously the MAC is not the most competitive.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of mid-majors which do make some noise in the tournament. So there is debate here. Naturally, I want to know from you guys, do you still feel like they should get in if they have a loss and don't win their conference tournament? Because they would get an automatic bid if they won it all.
I'm not going to lie. The heart wants to be Team Miami of Ohio, but I think the way that you get in is by being undefeated. At that point, you're undeniable. It's like we literally did not lose. There's nothing more we could have done, I guess, other than have a tougher schedule. But the schedule we got is the schedule we got, and we ran the gauntlet. We went undefeated. If they lose a game, even 30-1, that's not undefeated, and I think that actually has a significant impact. So I'm actually going to go no.
Wow.
I don't think they should get in if they lose a game, and I hate it's against the heart, but that's the brain argument. I don't know if they should.
I'm surprised, and Anthony, just a second. I'm a little surprised with your answer, but it makes sense, right?
I want them
because
to.
there are so many other teams and other mid-major programs that may have a more difficult non-conference schedule or play in a little more difficult of a schedule or a regular conference schedule. So Miami, Ohio, though, they're only the fourth team in the last 20 years, though, to go 30-0, which is a feat in its own right. So that's pretty incredible when it comes down to it. I'm curious, Anthony, what do you think? Should they get in even if they have a loss?
I think that it has to do with who would take their place instead. I want to see who is around their seating that would take their place instead and see if they're a little bit better. But I want to agree with Matt. Like, you get in by being undefeated in this situation, especially with that bad of a schedule. I just went through their schedule, and it's. Give us some of those, Anthony. I'm curious as some of the, and I believe they've had some that are actually like 3-point wins, so they haven't won by a great margin with some of these, right?
A win's a win, though.
They're scoring a lot in these games, but one's like AR Pine Bluff. I don't know what that is. Bowling Green, Akron, Western Michigan, Toledo, Kent State.
AR Pine Bluff.
Yeah,
sounds
that
like a candle.
one's. Some of these don't even have logos on ESPN.
They beat a Febreze spray.
Right.
Yeah.
To their credit, though, I mean, that's a pretty incredible feat. Like, they don't get to pick their schedule. At least the players don't, right? And they're getting out here. Every single game is still a game. And what I love about the argument for them getting in is, everybody is trying to knock their what's off because they are the undefeated team and they continue to be that. So you're getting every team's best shot.
Yeah.
We also know basketball. It is hard to go undefeated in the game, no matter who you're playing on any given night. I mean, we see it in the NBA. Crap teams beat real good teams at times. Look at the Kings this year, who beat Houston
twice,
a couple of times. So it is one of those things. I get their side of it too, because that is a pretty good thing in terms of having the whole season like that. But you're right. I will side more with you guys as well when it all comes down to it.
I don't feel good about it.
I don't feel good about it either, but I'm thinking of other teams that just play those tougher schedules that are on the bubble.
It's crazy how 30-1 is so different than 31-1, but it's 31-0, but it's just that undefeated label. To go undefeated in a college basketball season is absurd to do, and there's no way you don't deserve the recognition of getting into the tournament in some capacity. Now, your first loss of the year probably will come in that first game in the tournament because you're not going to be a high seed necessarily, but you deserve to be there to try.
Yeah.
So I'm rooting for them. I want them to be 31-0, so it's undeniable. But if they're 30-1, I don't know if I can put them in.
They're currently ranked 19th.
So they're ranked.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're in it.
But the thing is like the minute that you don't win your conference when you're in a conference like that, that's usually the deciding factor. It's happened before with like a Gonzaga team, I believe. But Gonzaga had built a name for itself at that point that they didn't necessarily have to start winning every tournament once they kind of built their brand.
Mm-hmm.
And no offense, Miami of Ohio, but you haven't really built a brand like that. So
maybe they're trying to. This is how they
They
start.
might be.
Think of the undefeated T-shirts and all the branding they could do from that. One more win, Miami of Ohio. Just get one more.
Or we could just expand the tournament to what they're trying to do and add like how many more teams, which I'm completely against. And that will definitely water down the product.
You
but
lose the prestige of making the tournament if you do that, right?
But that's what they're trying to do because they're trying to make money when it's all said and done. But when's the limit to that?
More rounds, people would watch, more TV deals, more money.
Do you guys want to hear the spread for their final game tonight?
Who are they playing?
They're playing
Ohio. Bobcats.
Do you guys want to guess what the point spread is?
Well, they have to be favorites because they're undefeated.
Yes.
But
Okay.
I think for drama purposes, it's going to be close. Let's go -6.5.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go -10.5.
Ooh.
It was 5.5.
Oh.
It is close.
So close.
Okay.
But the matchup predictor on ESPN has them at 72% of winning. So,
Interesting.
whatever that means.
I'm rooting for them.
Well, we'll be checking in tomorrow to see if they could get it done at least in the regular season.
Give me the perfect season.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's hard to do. It doesn't happen often. Like I said, fourth time in 20 years that a team's done that. So rooting for those not the Bobcats, the Miami of Ohio. I think they're like the Red Hawks or something like that.
Yeah, the Red
We
Hawks.
all better learn because guess who's going to the MAC this upcoming season? Sacramento.
That's true.
Sac
football at least.
State.
Football, at least. Not in hoops, but football,
But
yes.
football,
They will
yeah,
be there.
Still teams.
That is Q&K. We'll take the break when we come back. CBS 13's Jake Gaden joins us to talk about the waning fan support, last night's game. Oh, yeah, and what happened afterwards. I'm sure Jake has plenty to say in regards to what Russell Westbrook had to say, directed at the media, mainly at me, but the media in general. Shout out everybody listening to this first hour. We appreciate you. I almost said Q&K. Matt and Kayla rolls on here on Sactown Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
Touchdown 49ers! Every game on your #1 sports station. Don't miss the action on your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo, March 5th through March 8th. Hundreds of boats and RVs, all in one place. From wakeboard boats and pontoon boats to motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, sprinter vans, plus fishing boats and ATVs. It's 2 huge shows, one massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at twohugeshows.com.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah.
Jackson Hewitt handles your taxes and your stress. Inhale our no surprise price of $149 or less. Exhale, paying more for complicated taxes. You won't. Inhale, new tax law knowledge. Exhale, missing out on your biggest refund? Certainly not. Don't miss paying $149 or less. Rest easy. Jackson Hewitt's got your taxes. Guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sactown Sports 1140.
$10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
What an interesting Friday it has been already. Hey, shout out to everybody tuning in and listening. If you were expecting something and it wasn't what you expected on today's show, I apologize, I suppose. I hope you'll stick around. If you're here to hate listen and throw the criticisms out, I don't blame you either. Part of the job, part of the gig. I appreciate you regardless. So does Kayla, I believe. I don't want to speak for her, but I think we all appreciate you guys being here on this Friday. And we very much appreciate Jake Gaden from CBS 13 joining us right now. Jake, a phenomenal reporter there, covers all things Sacramento sports, but was in the building last night for the Kings' loss to the Pelicans and for everything that took place afterwards. Jake, I don't really know where to start, so I'll leave it up to you. Should we talk basketball first, or what happened afterwards?
I'm just checking in on my guy, Matt. All right. He's gotten some slander on X and Twitter this morning. I'm just wondering if there's a bounty for your head here in Sacramento right now.
I sure hope not. And if there is a bounty, it's not very big. I promise you, it's not very high. I'm not worth that.
I don't know. You know, you're a prominent sports figure here in the market, but I'm wondering, do you think you'll be invited to Russell Westbrook's Hall of Fame induction ceremony?
Well, I thought I was going to introduce him personally.
Oh,
I would do the opening statement, and I'd do a great job. I could be the hype man. I would do a great job. We just won't mention Sacramento, just like once Russell Westbrook leaves here, I don't think he's going to mention Sacramento because that's how bad this season has been. But Jake, what did you make of everything afterwards? This has been a crazy season, to say the absolute least. What did you make of Russ's comments? How myself and other media members, yourself, we all handled it, and just this season as a whole for Sacramento?
Well, we'll start with Russ, okay? I think Russ is entitled to his opinion and how he feels the team is being portrayed and what is being said about him. I think any player is open to that, right? Because he is right in a lot of different aspects where he said last night where, you know, he doesn't critique our work. He doesn't critique the work that we do on a consistent basis. And quite honestly, he doesn't have the platform to do that on a consistent basis. So, you know, if he's frustrated with what things are being said and how things are kind of going down here in Sacramento, he has every right to voice that opinion and be able to speak his mind on it. The way he went about it, though, I think was just not the best way of going about it. Going in a press conference where, you know, it's supposed to be a professional setting, and instead it's getting into an interrupting match of just trying to have a back and forth. And I don't know what his goal was in that press conference. You know, if it was to call you out, if it was to call the media out in general, I'm not sure. And his past, you know, is very well known of not being a big fan of the national media or even the local media in general. And to see that actually happen firsthand in real life last night was just a spectacle to see, I would say. I think this is where I would challenge Russ and say, you know, you've been in the league for so long, you know, why don't you have a conversation with whatever media members that you're upset with, not at a podium, not in front of cameras, in front of everybody, because I don't think us as media members would do that to you. So why do you do that to us? And I even go a step further is this. I'm in the pregame locker room every game, at least every game, just to talk to the guys, always be available if they want to have a conversation, if they're critical of what I say and what I've talked about. Every single time Russ is sitting by his locker room, headphones in, does acknowledge any media member's presence, doesn't even say hi. I even tried to say hi to him yesterday, guys. Walks by me, doesn't say anything. So there is opportunities for him to do it in a different fashion, but he chose to do it the way he did. Why he did it like that, I'm not really sure. Again, entitled to his opinion. He's entitled to feel how he feels. I just don't think the way he went about it is, one, A, professional, and two, the getting the result that he wants. Because if he wanted a result of better media coverage or more comprehensive media coverage, I think there's better ways of going about it.
Yeah, Jake, and I think it's hard because going on the professional athlete side of things, and I'm not one, but I've covered many different sports over the years. There's never like the perfect time, I guess, to address it. And like you said, he could probably, if he wanted to, if Matt was in there in the locker room, but he wasn't, right? I mean, were you there in the locker room?
No, I was not in the locker room that day. And I very rarely am, to be fair.
It's hard sometimes. And I think part of it, too, is like the frustration that these players are having right now, and rightfully so. And he kind of just took it in the moment and was like, here's an opportunity. The one thing I'll say is I think there was a lot left to be desired because there was no actual specific thing that he addressed with the media that was bothering him. I think that's where my mind goes is like, if you did take the opportunity, let's at least hear like what exactly were you bothered by, Jake? Does that make sense?
Oh, 100%. I agree with you completely on that, Kayla, because I think Chris Biederman, our good friend from the Sacramento Bee, gave him that opportunity, and he said he didn't want to go down that rabbit hole, which, again, okay, so be it. So are we just going to be combative just to be combative? I think if he brought up specific points of what he was upset about, I think it would have been a different conversation and maybe a constructive conversation. But it left a lot, like you said, to be desired of what the exact issues are. Because, let's be honest, we have been critical of this season. None of us thought, and let's make this clear, none of us thought they were going to win a championship this year. But a lot of us believed that this is going to be a team that was going to be much more competitive than it was. Heck, they have 2 future Hall of Famers on the roster, a top 10 center in the league, and one of the best shooting guards in the league as well. And Keegan Murray, you can, say is probably one of the most up-and-coming players in the NBA right now. So, expectations were higher than being the worst team in the NBA. That's clearly what we're getting at with our frustration as media members this year and why we've been critical of them, because it has been dysfunction. The team was not built well. The team has had so many question marks of how they've gone about different things in terms of rotations, minutes, even quite honestly, like attitude towards the game, the effort that they've played with. Like, Frankie Cardicelli, has brought up multiple times that, how many times has this team been blown out by 30 points this season? Yeah. Right? Like, there's things you can point to and say, we're not pressing you on these things. I think the criticism has been very fair. But I don't know specifically what he's upset about. And I would challenge Russ, if he's listening to this, to actually cite some issues that he has instead of just being broad strokes and being combative with it, because that's the only way we're going to grow and learn as individuals.
Believe it or not, though, I am actually going to stand in front of Russ a little bit here in the sense that I do believe Russ felt, or at least I'd like to believe Russ felt, that what he was doing and the forum that he was doing it in was to lead and was to protect that team and protect that locker room from all the outside noise that comes with being 14-50. And while the media in Sacramento is not nearly the media in other different major markets in the country, the criticisms still have been loud, and I can imagine that's not easy for anybody in that locker room to deal with, Jake. So in that sense, I respect that leadership element of Russell Westbrook. I'm confused as to what he felt was directed in a negative way towards some of those young guys, especially because I feel like the vast majority of the criticism is that the Kings should just be playing the young guys more and actually make this the rest of the season worthwhile and mean something. But if the one thing we know Russ is here to do is to lead by example in the way that he plays. And regardless of how I may feel about what he said or anybody may feel about what he said, in Russ's mind, that was probably a leadership moment. We saw DeMar DeRozan's response to it with what he put on Instagram today, which I thought was really funny. So that's also part of what makes Russ Russ. And I can tell you firsthand, and I know you know this, Jake, that man is really respected and loved in that locker room. And moments like that are probably a major reason why.
100%. Even Zach LaVine put something out there last night on his Instagram as well. Oh, you shoot it? I'll shoot you the text, Matt. It's quite comical. It's basically on par with what DeMar put out there. But he is beloved, and he's beloved around the NBA by players because he just doesn't take the BS. You know, he's here to hoop, and he loves to hoop, and he loves to be around people who love to hoop. You know, the extra that comes around with it, with being an NBA player, I think if he could say that goes away, he'd be very happy with it and just be able to put a ball through a basket on a consistent basis. But unfortunately in the NBA, you know, you have to deal with the media, you've got to deal with the fans and everything like that. And you are very, very on point. You know, these guys are competitive. No one wants to lose 50 games a year. No one wants to, you know, lose 9 straight at home. Like, it's we're in the latter part of the season, 18, 19 games left of the year. You know, this is, you know, they just want to get through it. I think Malik Monk said it perfectly in a post-game press conference last night. We're just trying to get to the end of the season, you know, and I think frustration is boiling over, and they just don't want to talk about losing anymore. I think that's the key of it. And you feel bad for them because I don't think they want to lose, but at the same time, it's not working there. And that's at our job in the media is to be the voice for the fans and be able to be out there and voice our opinions as well of what's going right and what's going wrong. And more wrong has gone right at the Golden One Center this year.
Jake, as weird as this question might be, but I feel like we can all feel this way the way we even go through our careers. Like, these young guys right now, as much as it's been challenging and probably not the situation they've wanted to be in, and even something like this in terms of learning through a media moment, like, how beneficial, when it's all said and done, has maybe this season been in a weird way to these young players for their growth moving forward?
I think it's been great in terms of the guys like Nick Clifford, Dylan Cardwell, Maxime Reynaud. Like, those guys are learning much more this year than they would learn on a maybe a championship, you know, roster. Like, I think the downs and ups of this season, I mean, more downs than ups, have really been more teaching lessons. And in anybody's career, you know, especially in mine or whoever media member it may be, you know, you learn from every mistake you make. You learn from any, you know, misstep that you make. And I think that's what's been valuable this season, right? Yes, it hasn't translated to wins, but, you know, what we've seen from Max over the past month has been damn near incredible, right? Like, not just on the basketball court, but, you know, he's been in press conferences, you know, over the past week and a half, you know, addressing the media and trying to pinpoint what's going wrong, what's going right. The step forward that we've seen from Nick Clifford, I've been told by multiple people that Nick is in the lab, as they would say, or in the arena, and lives in there getting shots up mainly in the film room, trying to understand how to elevate his game and become an everyday solid NBA player. So with all this misfortune, with all this, you know, media frenzy that we've had in the past 24 hours, it's a teaching moment, like you said, Kayla. And I think when you look at it, they'll learn more this year than they probably could learn in the next 4 years in their NBA career, just because of how bad it's been, and it can only go up from here, right? They're only going to continue to get better from here because I just don't think it could get any worse.
Jake, what I've been most critical about with Russell Westbrook is, and in part, Doug Christie is looped into this too, it's the amount of playing time that he's been getting and the amount of shots that he's been putting up on a regular basis at times. I feel taking opportunities away from a Nick Clifford or a Maxime Reynaud, even though I admit that both those guys have also very much benefited from Russ being on the floor with them. Both things can be true. But last night, again, this has more to do with Doug than it has to do with Russell Westbrook, Jake. But Last night, Nick Clifford plays 21 minutes. Maxime Renaud plays 26 minutes. The game was at least still somewhat close, and you added a complete veteran lineup out there, including Russell Westbrook and DeMar DeRozan, to close it, along with Drew Eubanks, Precious Achiuwa, and Malik Monk. That's the kind of stuff that drives me crazy. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't make any sense to me with where this team is at right now, which has led to the criticisms that I think Russ has taken exception to.
I agree, man. I think I dug a little deeper this morning on, why that rotation was the one that closed last night. I'll be real with you. I think Max and Neek's legs are tired. I think they're a little heavy right now. They're rookies in the league. This is the most amount of minutes in games they've played in their NBA, in their basketball career. And I think it's catching up for them, especially with how much usage rate they've had in the month of February when they kind of made the switch. And I think Doug kind of alluded to that last night, where the guys are just, they're tired. And again, last night would have been the best way to have them learn and become better NBA players, because it was such a close game, and it was a game that could have been possibly one of the final moments of the game, and it could have been a great teaching moment for those guys. But unfortunately, it comes at the point of the season where, these guys have played a lot of minutes over the past month, and we've seen great moments from them, especially in games where they've been blown out. And it's, instead of losing by 25, they lose by 10 because the young guys are playing so hard at the end of the game. I think last night was a microcosm of what the season is basically they're just trying to get through it. Right? Like, I would have loved to see it too, Matt. I think I brought that up to Doug Christie last night.
Yep, you did.
But to hear, this morning that, those guys they have heavy legs right now, and it would have maybe been less competitive if they were out there. Great teaching moment. Just unfortunate timing on a lot of this.
Do we take anything away from it? I don't know whether you would give credit to coaching, whether you'd give credit to the individual players, or hell, to the leader who seems to be Russell Westbrook in that locker room. But do we give any credit to maybe how this team has stayed so tight and in unison and under what seems to be the same message when there's so much other stuff that's happening, mostly, though, just losses and frustrations, which sometimes can completely tear apart a locker room? We've all probably seen this in a sport before.
Oh, of course, Kayla. And I think this is the interesting thing about that locker room, and this is team assembled. The team assembled is a bunch of great hoopers, right? Good basketball guys, good individuals, people that care about winning. Like, all the off-the-court stuff is exactly the type of people you want to have in a locker room, right? It's the on-the-court stuff that just doesn't make sense. They don't fit together. The roles. I have still yet to figure out what everyone's defined role has been this season, because I still think the people are searching for it. I'm still searching for what type of offense and defense they're running, because I'm still clueless in that as well. I think a lot of it has to do with the on-the-court stuff, and that's where, they can be as close to it as they want to be off the court, and that's because of the individuals that they are. But on the court, the reason why it hasn't worked is because these guys don't fit with each other. It is not a well-constructed basketball team, simply put. And that's no fault of their own. That's not even the fault of this year's front office, quite honestly. I blame the front office that was previous to Scott Perry of trying to assemble a roster that just doesn't make sense. And now that's kind of where we're at. We have to figure out how to disassemble it, right? Because of all these contracts and everything. You saw them move off of Dennis Schroeder. You've seen them move off of Keon Ellis. They've tried to move on from Sabonis. They've tried to move on from Levine, DeMar, and I still think they're going to try to do that this offseason. Again, a group of individuals that are very, very high IQ basketball players, want to win, good people. It's the on-the-court stuff that just doesn't make sense and how they fit together on a basketball court.
Jake Gayden of CBS 13 joining us right now. Jake, you also saw what I saw. I know you tweeted out about it. The crowd looked pretty thin last night. And I know some people are going, hey, this is what you asked for. You asked for the tank. You asked for the tank. Why are fans not supporting? I don't think it's a negative reflection on the fans whatsoever to be checked out and frustrated about where this team as a whole is, considering where they were less than 3 years ago, Jake. And in reality, they have every right not to show up to games. You have also been all over this Kings season ticket story that was out there. There's a bit of either misinformation or confusion, and you clarified in a report yesterday that about Sacramento Kings are not raising their season ticket prices for next year and what the benefits are for season ticket members. But what do you just make of the fan involvement? You've been in this community long enough to know how quickly these people will come back. And we're expecting there's going to be a draft party in the Golden One Center this summer. And I have a feeling that place is going to be full because what this fan base is looking for is hope again. So what has been your take and your thoughts on I guess, the waning fan support and how many fans are checking out at this point?
Well, I think you put it perfectly. They're checked out. And I think that we've seen it across different things. We've seen it in attendance, specifically last night's game, even the game before, and it's going to be only getting worse, guys. Final week of the regular season, when there's a couple home games left, that place is going to be sparse. And I hope when no one's there, it does send a message to the front office and specifically ownership of, you did not get this right, and you're not going to continue to take our money because the product you're putting on the court is not acceptable. But it's also, you've seen it in traffic numbers and the amount of people talking about this team. Matt, we talked about this last night. Our numbers in terms of the amount of views on Kings content, specifically, on YouTube or whatever platform it may be, are down. People don't want to, consume any Kings basketball because what is there to consume? Are we going to, no offense to Killian Hayes, great individual, but do we care if he's on a 10-day contract? Is it how big of a story is that? For us, we're going to report on it, but I don't think the average Kings fan really cares. No one cares. The average King fans, I don't think, care about what Patrick Baldwin is going to try to show in the next couple of weeks. If anything, they're more intrigued on what is Nick Clifford going to be? What is Max Reynaud going to be? When is Dylan Cardwell going to come back? Is Keegan going to play the rest of the season? Those are the questions they want. And then the bigger questions they really want is what this offseason looks like in terms of, are we getting off money? Who are we going to draft? What's the draft pick? Et cetera, et cetera. I don't blame the fans for not showing up because it's not great basketball. I think the reason why people are still tuned in, and I think Brandon Benitez and I make a fun joke of it, they want to see the ship crash, as they would say. They want to see it go into the iceberg and how it goes downhill and sinks every single night, because that is not, and I wouldn't call it entertaining, but it's something where they can say, okay, I was an invested fan when they were this bad, and I was sitting through games and watching through games during this season, and hopefully when they turn this around, they can say, I've been at the worst part of this, franchise, and now we're here. So it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse before it gets better. That's the simplistic part of it is, and I don't blame the fans. I feel bad for them because they're the best fans in the NBA, bar none. I still get chills thinking about that first playoff game 3 years ago, and looking at those videos and just sitting there where was this? Where did this all go? Because they're there, right? I hope and pray that they can get this thing right to get it back to that moment, because when the Kings are winning, Sacramento is winning. It creates a buzz within the city. It helps economics, the economic businesses in the area. It makes everyone's day better. And I think until that day starts to happen, man, it's just going to be tough. It's going to be tough. So I don't blame fans. It's only going to get worse. And the attendance last night kind of showed that.
We've had the discussion here lately just because it is part of moving forward with the future of not only the organization, just the team in general. Have you seen enough, or do you feel like you have had enough in terms of what you've seen on the court to have any sort of opinion on, Doug Christie moving forward and him being a head coach? Do you feel like he deserves more time just because of what the roster he inherited?
Oh, 100%. I think heading into next season, I think Doug is going to definitely be on a little bit of a warmer seat. I wouldn't call it hot and I wouldn't call it cold, but definitely lukewarm. But I think he deserves another shot. How many times has this season has Doug had a full arsenal of players where everyone's healthy? Not one. How many times this season has Doug had a roster with too many guards on it and trying to balance it and make the minutes work? damn near all season until the trade deadline. This man is doing the best he can with what the cards have been dealt. And I don't blame Doug for a lot of different things. What I do wonder, though, is who Doug Christie really is as a coach when it comes to crunch time, specifically in the final 4 minutes of a game to win the game, and then the tactician part of who Doug Christie is. Because Doug Christie, the motivator, he's there. Doug Christie, the effort guy, he's there. But I'm talking tactician when I'm talking like how the offense runs, how the defense runs. You can't all rely on heart and hustle for those type of things, especially when you're in the half-court offense and defense. You have to stick to some type of, scheme, as you will. And I don't know if we have that. I haven't seen it this year. As I said before, I've questioned what the offense looks like, what they're trying to run, who they're trying to run it for. And I think that is where I'm intrigued to see what Doug can do if he return, as I expect him to return next year. When you have a full arsenal of players and a more comprehensive roster that does make more sense, what does it look like? Because if it still looks like what we have on a nightly basis, where it's just the offense looks like a mess, the defense there's a ton of blow-bys, then I would judge Doug a lot more of who he is as a head coach, because you can't just do heart and hustle for the whole entire game. You've got to have some type of meaningful way you're going to play basketball. And I'm intrigued to see that next year, specifically, if there's a roster overhaul this offseason. Do I expect that? No. So, maybe it is another year of Doug trying to figure it all out. But I think Doug has earned another opportunity just based off of how the season has gone. But I think this offseason is going to be a big one, especially with who they bring in, right? The other part of it is, can Doug develop? And he's helped develop Neek a little bit, helped develop Max a little bit, and definitely was able to find Dylan Cardwell. And I'll give Doug credit to this. He was one of the first people that was a big fan of Cardwell, one of the first people on the staff. He saw something in Dylan all the way back in the preseason and was able to continue to develop him to become one of the, surprises of this year's draft. And Dylan's been one of the most solid role players they've had on this Kings team. So I think big thing for Doug is, continue to develop these guys this offseason. He's done it before with Domantas Sabonis, working with him one-on-one. But the tactician part of things is where I wonder heading into next season can he be a solid NBA coach when it comes to putting together schemes and then coaching in the final couple of minutes of a game to win it.
Jake, we appreciate you making the time, my friend. Enjoy the start of the World Baseball Classic. I know you'll be locked into Team USA playing today, and we look forward to seeing you at the arena very soon and having you back on the show soon after that, my friend. Have a good one, and appreciate your support.
Matt, if you're not there on Sunday, I'm putting out a bolo on you, okay?
There's no place else I would rather be, truthfully. I'm going to be there. I'm looking forward to being there for Kings and Bulls on Sunday, and I will see you there, Jake.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you as always.
Thanks,
Appreciate you, the great Jake Gaden. Have a little bit of unfortunate breaking news here that just came through. North Carolina's Caleb Wilson broke his right thumb in a non-contact drill in practice today. Thursday, and has undergone season-ending surgery. So he tried to come back from his earlier injury. It got worse. The good news is he's expected to be cleared during the NBA pre-draft process, where he'll compete to be the number one pick in June. I don't think he's going to be the number one pick. He's still going to be top 4, and he's still going to be very, very, very high on a lot of people's boards, and probably should be high on the Sacramento Kings board as well. But disappointing that Caleb Wilson won't be able to make a return, at least for the NCAA tournament. We will return, though, after the break, immediately to another guest, another conversation. Connor Sutton from the Sacramento Republic FC. He handles so much for them over there. Republic season is right around the corner. Connor will join us for a few minutes to preview that season. Plus, we have Pick a Side coming up as well. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
The Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SactownSports.com to join.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, And new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo March 5th through March 8th. It's 2 huge shows, 1 massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at 2hugeshows.com.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6 to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
Good morning from Sierra. Spring has sprung. We are seeing classic bluebird conditions throughout the week, so make sure to bring your sunblock and shades. With warmer temps comes softer snow and variable conditions, so please ski and ride with care. Mark your calendars for Sierra's signature Grub Tour, Saturday, March 7th. Explore our various dining options at the resort to taste and rate their bite-sized treat. See you out there.
Ride more, stress less. Sierra Tahoe is your closest, most affordable mountain escape from Sacramento or the Bay Area. From powder days to park laps, every run delivers that signature Sierra vibe. Real, friendly, and fun. Season passes start at $459 and save up to 40% on lift tickets and lessons when you book online in advance. Skip the long drive and high prices. Plan your trip today at SierraTahoe.com. That's SierraTahoe.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
I'm U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy. The sound of a seatbelt. It's one of the most important sounds in our car. It means everyone is ready and everyone is safe. The more our kids see us put on our seatbelts, the more natural it is for them to put theirs on too. Make it a priority. Buckle up every time. Hear the sound? Make it a habit. Paid for by NHTSA.
Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
Coming up at noon, we will have a pair of Kings tickets to give away, or you'll be entered to win a pair of Kings tickets as the Kings will take on the Utah Jazz on March 15th. We'll have tickets for you to give away, so stay tuned for that. But right now, as the air is changing, things are getting warmer, the spring sunshine is coming through. Sure, that means baseball season's back, but that also means Sacramento Republic FC season is right around the corner. Kayla, I am so excited for you to get to come out to Hart Health Park with me at some point to be able to experience it, because it is a great time, and one of the guys that works very, very hard to make the experience of a Republic FC match so enjoyable is Connor Sutton, the announcer extraordinaire over there. Connor, it's a pleasure to be able to talk to you, my friend. How excited are you? How ready are you for this USL Championship season and the return of the Republic?
Oh, what's going on, Matt and Kayla? Yeah, I am so excited to be back. It's exciting. I was heavily on the social media burner accounts last night, Matt, hitting you up. I don't know if you saw any of those.
That was you?
But that was me. That was me. Yeah, that was me. Finally, somebody called you out, Matt. I've been waiting on it for 10 years.
Honestly, it's about time. Truthfully, it's about time.
No, we're excited. We're excited to be back, guys. Like, it's going to be beautiful weather tomorrow night. We're expecting a sellout crowd. And, yeah, Kayla, I know you probably haven't been to a Republic game yet. We can't wait to have you out. It is an electric time. And tomorrow night's going to be one of those nights. The team is ready to go, ramped up. We got a lot of new players this year. We are just fired up to be back.
Yeah, there is. You said it. Like, there's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of newness. So talk to us about some of the new things and why that's going to add to the overall experience.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that Coach Neil Collins said at the end of last season is we got to score more goals. And he was very candid about that, and that has been the biggest thing that they have addressed. Rodrigo Lopez, our star midfielder and Republic legend, retired at the end of last offseason, and that allowed the club to make a full transition to midfield. We had some huge signings, maybe the biggest in club history the last couple of weeks. Mark-Anthony Kaye into the midfield. He was in the 2022 World Cup playing for Canada as a former MLS All-Star. And then Memo Rodriguez are the two high-level names. He also had a lot of minutes in MLS in his career, both veterans, both really play at a high level. So those are the two guys that are highlighted. But then we have a lot of guys up top. We're going to be a little more physical. We're going to be a little quicker on the attack. A lot of our attacking players are going to be able to take defenders one-on-one a little more, which is going to be really exciting. So there's a lot of newness. We had a preseason friendly 2 weeks ago, and Mael Malongo, one of our new strikers, had a hat trick. And I think it was a 5-2 win. So I think that's going to be the interesting thing to watch here early on in the season is how much can the midfield and the attack get aligned? How many goals can we score early on and try and start the season off on a high note?
And Connor, something that all Republic fans I know understand, but anybody in Sacramento who's missing out needs to understand is there's only one expectation in the Republic FC, and that's to hoist a cup. And that's what they're all about there, right? The expectations are high. Sights are set on a deep playoff run. I know tomorrow is just the season opener. It's just opening night. There's a long way to go. But this club is, am I right in saying, Connor, this club is built to hoist a trophy and to represent Sacramento on the biggest stage in the USL?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, we got 3 opportunities to win a cup this year, right? We have the U.S. Open Cup. We have the Prince Tires Cup, changed from Jägermeister Cup. Yep. And then obviously the USL Championship, just regular season and playoffs. So there's a lot of opportunities. We made the Jägermeister Cup final last year, lost unfortunately at home. But yeah, the expectation is we are going into all 3 tournaments, all 3 opportunities with one thing in mind. This team is deep. And I think it will be a really good opportunity to get off on a good front. Listen, we play FC Tulsa tomorrow. That team was the number 1 team in the Western Conference last year. We were number 2. So it's a good opportunity to see where we stand right away. I think the best part about this team is there is a lot of new players. So it's going to take a little bit of time for guys to get to know each other on and off the pitch. But the reality is there's so much talent. We expect to get off to a good start tomorrow night. And we have, I think, 4 of our first 5 games on our home pitch. And so that's one of the things that Neil Collins has also said is we need to be better at home in front of our fans. And that's the opportunity to do that is tomorrow night.
Connor Sutton of the Republic FC is joining us today on Matt and Kayla. And, you know, when it comes to, you got the new stadium that's being built, but right now this year, what do you have for fans that is going to, you know, draw them in? I know obviously the game itself, the players themselves, but what else do you guys got going on in the woodworks here that might come out?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we have a lot going on. The play on the field is going to be exciting football this year. That's fundamentally the case. The team's going to be successful. We feel very confident in that. But yeah, I would say for people who don't come to a lot of soccer games, you need to come check it out. It is a very different experience than any other sports. It is honestly just a blast. It's 90 minutes of just energy and fun. A lot of heart wrenching going on, a lot of nail biting as it gets late in games. And there's just a vibe about the community of Sacramento who shows up to Republic games. For this one tomorrow night, we have a lot of fun things planned. We got some fireworks down on the field for pregame as a part of our procession as the players come out onto the pitch. We'll have a jazz band. We'll have jugglers. We have a lot of just fun. And I think fundamentally that's what Republic FC games are all about is having fun, bringing the community together, obviously cheering on the Republic, booing the opposing team, no matter who it is. And that's fundamentally what we're about. The place gets rocking. When we score a goal, there's very few things like it because the place goes nuts and goes ballistic.
Well, let me tell you something about a Republic FC home game, all right? Especially on big matches, whether it's a cup match or the opening night, the home opener like tomorrow night, or a playoff game. They go big with their pregame ceremonies, let me tell you. I've experienced it firsthand. I've been far too close to those sparklers from time to time with the camera, Connor. You've had to shoo me and back me up so I didn't get burned on those things. But you guys do a phenomenal job over there. And then, like you said, when goals are scored, that place gets loud. That place is going to be rocking. Really, the Republic and Heart Health Park have established a bar of what home matches are supposed to be around the USL Championship. And I hear stories all the time. I know you hear them too, Connor, of how teams love to come and play in Sacramento, not just because they want to beat the Republic, but because they want to play in front of that crowd, even if it's hostile towards them.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, I want to address the sparkler situation, Matt. I was actually less concerned about your safety and more just making sure they looked good. That was really what I was focused on.
That's fair.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it is a place where opposing teams do love to come play. And that is one of the reasons why I think last year we maybe didn't have as good a form at home, is because opposing teams, they love playing in front of big crowds. And it amps them up, and they come into Sacramento as a place that they circle on their calendar. They know they're going to play in front of a raucous crowd, and so they look forward to it, and they bring their best effort. And so that's one of the things that Neil Collins has challenged the players with, is we know we're going to get the best of opposing teams when they come to Heart Health Park. We just have to be ready for that. And I'll also say what's different about this team this year is I think we'll be able to win in multiple different ways. In that Jägermeister Cup final game last year, we were bullied around a little bit. We were shoved around a little bit, especially in our attack. And I think we addressed that. We have some extremely much more physical and big players, specifically in the attack, that will be exciting to see, who are not afraid to get down and dirty, not afraid to throw, not saying we're going to throw elbows or anything, but not afraid to have some contact, and really make an effort to get defenders on their back heels. And that's one of the things that we're excited to see. So we have the ability to be a little more physical. We have the ability to be a little more aerial. And that's one of the things that's going to be the biggest change going into this year. Less one dimensional, multiple ways we can score. That's the thing that Neil Collins has addressed. And that's the thing we're excited about going into this season.
How impressed with the Sacramento soccer community have you been in terms of the growth of the sport? I just feel like this is such a great area for that. And I heard that all the way down in Nashville, who finally got a pro team and has been successful at the MLS level. Connor, just how impressed have you been with the fans, and how much can they continue to help grow the sport here?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty unbelievable. We're well over a decade in. We're still drawing sellout crowds. We expect tomorrow night to be a sellout game. Sacramento Republic fans show up for big games, and that's one of the reasons why we are building this new stadium, is because we need to show up for them and have a place where they can come, call their own, and be even louder, be even bigger, and draw more people in. Because I think fundamentally, and this is me personally, I think, Matt, you agree because we've talked about this, people who've never been to a Republic game don't really know what to expect.
Right.
And then they come and then they say, oh my goodness, this is way more fun, way more electric than I ever thought. And a lot of times people who maybe, again, have never been to a pro soccer game, they come out and they're way more impressed with the level, the intensity, the atmosphere, and everything else. And this is a good year for that, with the World Cup in the North America, in our time, in prime time. So it's going to be a very, very fun and interesting year for soccer in America, and specifically here in Sacramento with the Republic.
Connor, real quick before we let you go, how do fans get involved? Where do they get their tickets, and how can they be a part of not just opening night tomorrow, but all the festivities this season?
Yeah. Go to sacrepublicfc.com/tickets. Tickets are running out. We expect to sell out. We've sold out the last 6 opening nights. This is going to be the 7th. They're moving fast. We got great weather tomorrow night, and we're hoping to bring home 3 points for opening.
Come to Heart Health Park for good soccer. Stay for the beautiful voice of Connor Sutton yelling at you or telling you to moo. You don't boo at Heart Health Park. You moo every time that there's something that you don't like that the other team does. Connor, you're the best, my friend. Looking forward to seeing you out there. I appreciate you making the time.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Connor.
The great Connor Sutton, the voice and one of the announcers of the Sacramento Republic FC. We'll take the break. When we come back, it's time to pick a side. We can get Anthony involved in this one. Get ready to defend your takes, Anthony. It's Matt, George, and Kayla Anderson right here on Sactown Sports.
Download the Sactown Sports app.
Sacramento sports in your pocket. This is Sactown Sports 1140.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Spring is here, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings, plus get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Have you tried my Colombian tamales?
Yes, but the Mexican tamales I brought are way better.
Colombian tamales wrapped in plantain leaves are unmatched, you know.
But the Mexican tamales wrapped in corn husks are the authentic ones.
At least we can agree that they taste better with Pepsi.
Without a doubt, tamales deserve Pepsi. No matter what tamales you love, enter for a chance to win a year's worth of groceries. Powered by Pepsi. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or over. Ends April 5th, 2026. Rules at pepsipromo.com/free groceries. Pepsi is a registered trademark of Pepsi Going.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Tune in every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Toyota Tahoe Report with Johnny Mosley and me, Elena, bringing you the latest weather conditions up at Tahoe. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Pick a side, any side. It's time for Pick a Side on Matt and Kayla.
Oh, Anthony, you do not know what you've gotten yourself into, my friend. Not only do you fill in on a day where I decided to go to war with Russell Westbrook, and I lost. Not only that, you're now involved in Pick a Side, but understand this, you're not just presenting the topics. Oh no, Anthony, you're picking a side as well. So what is topic number 1 on Pick a Side, my friend?
Brian Kelly tells SiriusXM showed that Lane Kiffin's roster at LSU is over $40 million. Is this absurd or not?
That's a lot of money
That
for a college
is
team.
A lot.
Now, can I provide some really quick context here?
Yes, please do.
The lowest payroll in the NFL was the Los Angeles Chargers, which is actually surprising to me, at $203 million. Right. So there's still a very big difference between what LSU is doing in the NFL, but that's still a massive that's a massive payroll for a college team.
The thing is, though, is most college players, as crazy as this might seem, most of them don't get a chance at the next level.
Yeah.
That's the best of the best. And so when you look at a roster and you see $40 million, it's crazy to think, too, that most of that money, Matt, Anthony, listeners, is going to the best player. So it's not even like most of the roster is benefiting from it. It's like that 40 mil is going to a certain group of players. But I think the funniest thing about it all is it's Brian Kelly, who was LSU's family coach, that decided to blast Lane Kiffin on air when he had an opportunity.
Right.
Look, it's the world we live in. LSU, all they do down there, guys, is play football and talk about football and play more football. So it is what it is. Like, it's fair. It's fine. I don't want to accept it, but it is what it is.
For the protection of the players, they should never, ever, ever put out there how much money is going to each person.
Right.
But I would be fascinated to know what's the percentage of that 40 that's in the, let's say, the top 15 recruits.
Yep.
I would be fascinated to
too.
know how much it is. But don't tell us. We don't need that out there. But I want to know. But don't tell us. Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I think my question is, do they do school there anymore? Like, do they have classes there?
Technically,
Like,
yes.
like Kayla said, they just do football. Like, $40 million is absurd. But I know that that's just the world that we live in. I'm sure it's not that far off from other schools. I don't know how many payrolls are public.
Yeah.
But it's probably not absurd if you get the context. But out of context, that is crazy. That's a lot of money.
Let's put it this way. I think they're more than recouping that money over at LSU, too, with the amount of just ticket sales, because we see those crowds over there. And it's different over there, let me tell you.
One of the best stadiums, if not the best stadium in the country in college football.
All right, pick a side number 2, Anthony. What we got?
Mello says Ant is the best NBA player in the league. Agree or not?
Ooh. I think I lean towards disagree, but it's very close.
Okay.
Ant is. We're so much about like USA versus everybody right now with the Olympics and World Baseball Classic and everything, and we just had the All-Star game that leaned into Team USA versus Team World. I think Ant is, with the sunset of LeBron and KD and Steph, I think Ant is the face of the American contingency in the NBA. Boy, he is definitely up there, but I don't know if I could put him right now ahead of. He's probably ahead of Giannis simply because of how this season has gone for Giannis. I don't think he's ahead of Jokic. I like him way more than Luka, so I'll put him ahead of Luka just to be petty. But I don't think he's Jokic yet. So
yeah, I would tend to agree with you more. I think when he was talking about this on his podcast, he was speaking about the trajectory. And I would completely agree with the trajectory part, because it is going that way for Ant to absolutely be the best player in the league, and for all the reasons you want him to be. And so I would say I get what he was saying there. I'm not quite there yet, but I think if we have maybe this conversation next year, I might be willing to say he is the best.
He was sensational in the playoffs, and if he continues that, he's going to be undeniable. I mean, he is unbelievably fun to watch, and he is a great reminder to everybody, myself included here, aggressively pointing at myself here, that hey, you don't have to overreact to stuff in the pre-draft process, because talent is talent, and the best argument for Darren Peterson out there is Anthony Edwards.
That's a great point.
Yeah, so Carmelo Anthony said this, right?
He
not
did.
LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not LaMelo Ball.
Oh, God, no.
LaMelo Ball would have said himself,
for
sure.
Okay, awesome. I disagree. He's not as good as Jokic. I think Jokic is like a top 5 player that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm sure Anthony Edwards will eventually be someone that I talk about like when I'm old and I'm like, that dude was crazy. But Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Just period.
Yeah.
He just is. But I see what he's saying, like Kayla said. I think that Anthony Edwards might be the most fun player to watch.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I love players who talk.
Me too.
Yeah.
He's sure not afraid to do
He's
that.
like Phillip Rivers, but in basketball. But he's probably swears. Phillip never swear.
Oh, no.
Swore.
Ant, 100%. Did you ever watch the Starting Five documentary?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We learned a ton about Ant during
Yeah,
that.
I love that. Phillip always bugged me because he didn't do it. But whatever. To each your own.
All right, now this is where the heat really starts to pick up and pick a
Yeah,
side.
baby,
'cause
let's
we
go.
get away from the sports and we get into like food and unrelated topics.
These are usually me.
McDonald's has the best fries.
100%. Not even close.
Yes!
100% not even close. Now, everything else at McDonald's, stinky. But McDonald's fries, nothing hits better.
Man.
Although every once in a while, McDonald's will like sometimes overcook their fries. And I'm like, what are you doing? You ruined it. How dare you? But yes, McDonald's has 100% best fries.
So what happens with that I've found, Matt, is that they actually sit in there for a long time, and they're just like, they don't like remake them. Like the best McDonald's fries, because yes, they do have the best fries.
Yep.
Perfect amount of salt.
Yep.
The best kind is when they come out fresh, and then you get you gotta wait for a second for them, and then you get a Diet Coke with them. Oh man. Diet Coke and some fries from
It's
McDonald's.
different. Okay, we learned, I think it was earlier this week, we learned that Kayla is all about ranch dressing. Do you dip your fries in ranch?
If the ranch is available, but I don't. McDonald's fries are so good that I actually
straight?
don't prefer
Wow.
to dip the McDonald's fries.
Straight fry, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I disagree. I mean,
Oh!
I like them. I think that they taste good. I prefer like a seasoned fry.
Okay.
Like I want like spicy fries.
Ooh.
Well, someone said, Johnny G in the chat said Five Guys Cajun fries.
Yeah.
I've never tried that.
I love anytime there's like a Cajun option for fries or like tots or anything on the menu. I always get that. I'll pay whatever.
I've never tried that.
I've never tried that either. I've had Five Guys fries. Are they all? I didn't realize they were all like Cajun. I don't know if they're all Cajun seasoned.
I'm
Maybe
not
that's
sure.
all
I have no
how
idea.
they are. The only thing I'll say about Five Guys fries is I feel so guilty eating those because I look at the bag that they're in, and it's literally like the fries are almost falling through the bag because they're so greasy.
Fries are fries.
Yep.
All right, we got one more.
Spring better than fall.
You got thoughts on this? My wife is 100% agree.
This is hard for me because I do like fall because of football season starting up. But I am already dreading when I see the leaves fall that we're going to get cold and I'm going to have to like bring out the boots and all of that stuff. I just like spring, especially here, because it gets nice fast in Sacramento at least. And the sun comes out. And if the sun's out, it just makes everything just a little bit more better, a little bit more easy to deal with in terms of me. That's just my opinion on it.
Is it allergies versus
okay.
piles upon piles upon piles of
Ooh.
leaves? I happen to live in a neighborhood that has trees everywhere, and my backyard is like the homing beacon for all these leaves. So I hate
True.
raking leaves, but to me, it's fall. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Basketball season's getting closer, starting to get a little cozier and what you can wear. Halloween and holiday season right around the corner. Football starting. Yeah, give me fall every day of the week. But spring is wonderful too. And I'm born in spring, so.
Yeah,
That matters.
we both are.
Maybe.
Anthony,
Yeah.
when's your birthday?
November 20th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Close.
All right.
Not close to us.
Not goes close.
We found out. So I'm born on the 23rd. Kayla's on the 24th. Whitey is the 25th.
20th.
Oh, he's the 20th.
Yeah.
Of what month?
Of May.
May.
Oh.
So we're all right,
Wow.
right there.
Isn't that crazy?
So you're the odd man out.
What a big week that will
It
be at
is.
the station.
Yeah.
I have allergies and I love the fall.
Okay.
Spring makes me not able to breathe. And it's so pretty out but like I like hiking and I'd rather hike in the rain
Sure.
than I can't breathe.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it. I understand that. Zerotech, you gotta love it. That's
yeah.
what I do.
Every day.
Yep.
That was Pick a Side. Coming up next, it's time for the lunch break. We've already gotten a lot of callers. Of course, we've talked a lot about the Russell Westbrook situation. We'll talk about that more, but we've barely talked about the actual basketball game that happened last night between the Kings and New Orleans Pelicans. We'll dive into that. For lunch break, it's your time to call in now. 916-339-1140, 800-920-1140. The lunch break is coming up next, plus your chance to win Kings tickets. Don't go anywhere.
Stay up to date on Sacramento sports. Join the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SactownSports.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at PowerCopiers.com.
At Planet Fitness, we're getting strong for the season's biggest games. Join now and your first month is free. Whether you're chasing a buzzer beater or your everyday goals, we've got next level amenities like red light recovery and hydro massage to help you rebound and recover. Plus, with the PF Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime and access over 2,800 locations. Join now for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get your first month free. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, March 13th. Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly.
Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
It's tax time, y'all. If you want to file free, this next one's for you.
Now taxes is so free. Tax free edition only. Roughly 37% of filers qualify. Simple form 1040 returns only. Now this is tax.
Love that jam. Up next, commercials.
Intuit TurboTax Free Edition. See if you qualify at TurboTax.com/free. No schedules except for Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, Student Loan Interest, and Schedule 1A.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Country in the Park is back. May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo. Miranda Lambert, John Party, Chris Young, Turnpike Troubadours, Dylan Scott, and more. Line dancing, mechanical bulls, and food trucks. Make it a lucky night out of live country music and dancing for your crew. Tickets start at only $68. Country in the Park, May 8th and 9th at Cal Expo with Residents in Cal Expo and Gornick Academy. More info at CITPFest.com.
Good morning from Sierra. Spring has sprung. We are seeing classic bluebird conditions throughout the week, so make sure to bring your sunblock and shades. With warmer temps comes softer snow and variable conditions, so please ski and ride with care. Mark your calendars for Sierra's signature Grub Tour, Saturday, March 7th. Explore our various dining options at the resort to taste and rate their bite-sized treat. See you out there.
Ride more, stress less. Sierra Tahoe is your closest, most affordable mountain escape from Sacramento or the Bay Area. From powder days to park laps, every run delivers that signature Sierra vibe. Real, friendly, and fun. Season passes start at $459 and save up to 40% on lift tickets and lessons when you book online in advance. Skip the long drive and high prices. Plan your trip today at SierraTahoe.com. That's SierraTahoe.com.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo, March 5th through March 8th. It's 2 huge shows, 1 massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at 2hugeshows.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140. It's time for the lunch break. Your calls, your thoughts, your segment. Call or text us at 916-339-1140. It's the lunch break on Matt and Kayla.
Lunch break time. It's your time to call in. You want to talk about the Sacramento Kings game last night? You want to talk about what happened after the Sacramento Kings game last night? Now's the time to do so. 916-339-1140, 800-920-1140. And get your phones ready, because right now it is time for you to enter to win a pair of tickets to watch the Kings take on the Utah Jazz on March 15th. That is 9 days away. We have been giving away code words every single day at 8 a.m., noon, and 4 o'clock. You got 2 chances left to win. And today's final midday code word is Murray. As in Keegan Murray. Now, this one I will spell for you because it can get tricky. That's spelled Murray. Text that word Murray to 916-339-1140 to enter to win a pair of tickets to see the Kings and the Utah Jazz on March 15th. If you do not win, that's okay. You get one more shot. The Drive guys will be giving you one last code word coming up at 4 o'clock. Kayla, we've talked a lot about, of course, the Russell Westbrook situation. I've shared my thoughts on it, and we've done very little to actually talk about the basketball game that happened last night, to which the Russ stuff happened afterwards. The Kings fall to the New Orleans Pelicans, 133-123. Now 14-50 on the season, 9-22 at home. Their 9-game home losing streak is now stands alone as the second longest in franchise history. I don't believe the Kings have won a home game since like mid-January, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know the exact date. But this was a strange game in terms of rotations, right? First off, the New Orleans Pelicans, I know they ended up winning by double digits. I don't understand how they're as bad as they are. Like, especially with Zion playing, Trey Murphy playing last night, and both those guys led their teams in scoring. Zion had 23, Trey Murphy had 21. Sadiq Bey also had 20. But I don't know. I guess I expected New Orleans to dominate that game more than they did. In the end, they still pulled away with 2 pretty significant offensive quarters. We had the game yesterday where we were going to guess would it be like the second quarter or the third quarter where things kind of fell apart. It was the third quarter, which Kayla predicted, 38-28. The Kings were outscored in that quarter, but the Pelicans went on a big run to create
13-0 run.
Yeah, really big run to create a double-digit lead, but the Pelicans also scored 41 points in the second quarter. So you got back-to-back 41-point, then a 38-point quarter. That's hard for any team to overcome, let alone the Sacramento Kings, who we know are not the best, to say the absolute least. So,
yeah, I think that third quarter in particular, too, Matt, it was like not only did the Pelicans go on that run, but a lot of it had to do from they started hitting their shots from beyond the arc, and we all know that Sacramento is not doing that on any given night. And so not only did they dominate the points in the paint early on, but then they started to hit those threes, and it just that's how quickly things unravel for this team this year. Like we mentioned, we joked about it, but it just takes really one quarter for it to fully unravel. And they got back in it late in the fourth, but it had already been like too much damage.
Yeah.
Like too much damage done.
There was a lot about Doug Christie's rotations in this game that were very confusing. Now, we talked about this with Jake Gayden at 11 o'clock, and Jake actually made a fantastic point, and specifically why Neek Clifford and Maxime Reynaud played as little as they did. Tired legs have a factor, and we as basketball fans are used to 82 games a year. We certainly don't have to play 82 games. We know the veterans like Russ and DeMar, they're all very used to 82 game seasons. These rookies are not, right? They're at like a season and a half, if not 2 college seasons at this point in terms of total games played in the same relative period of time. So tired legs makes perfect sense. And I suppose it's more than understandable if Doug Christie were to go, hey, tonight I'm going to lean on the veterans a little bit heavier. You guys have taken a bit of a back seat recently in playing time, not just Russ and DeMar specifically, but like Malik Monk, for example. Malik played 30 minutes last night. It's been a while since Malik's played more than like 21, 22 minutes.
We joked about the other day because he was getting hot from 3, like, simmer down now.
And he didn't have his best three-point shooting night last night, 2 of 8, because he's been shooting over 40% from three-point range, which is the best on the Sacramento Kings. But he still looked good. He was very effective. I'm such a fan of Malik Monk, man.
I know, me too.
Every time he plays, I'm always interested to see what he's going to do. I don't know what the future of Malik Monk holds, but I think him playing 30 minutes, Drew Eubanks playing 22 minutes last night, is I could certainly be mad at it. I was definitely frustrated at it at the time with this I want to just see the young guys play belief that I have. But I think it was a pretty clear indication that whether it was for rest purposes or to reward the veterans or whatever it may be, Doug was very intentional last night about playing those vets some heavier minutes to start.
And I do understand, like, we can just come out here and say, hey, we want the rookies to play in all the games moving forward because they need to have that development. And we need them to find their confidence with different lineups and whatever it may be. But I thought that was a great point by Jake to bring up because I didn't necessarily think about that, too. They still played minutes. Like, they still, like, had time, but it wasn't the 30-plus minutes that we've seen them been getting.
Right.
And this is the part of the season, too, that Doug's got to manage his roster still, as crazy as that might seem, because we can, say, oh, who cares? He does have to do that. And there is a fine line of, like, playing these guys a certain amount of minutes every single night. There have a certain amount of home games too, that clearly these fans want to see the young guys play, but they also want to see, some of them want to see DeMar, some of them want to see Russ, right? So it's just, it's an interesting and, again, tricky job for Doug to manage this and to not have complaints about the lineups on any given night, because it is a little bit different every night. We're talking about different minutes every single night, it seems like, for some of these guys.
The guy who's been getting the most consistent minutes kind of has been Nick Clifford as of late. So to see Nick play 21 minutes on the surface, I was like, what are we doing? I was frustrated. But then you go back and you look at, so here were the minutes played in the 11 games prior to last night's game where he only played 21 minutes. 39 minutes, 42 minutes, 39 minutes, 29 minutes, 28, 30, 30, 38, 37, 40, 33.
Oh, yeah.
So he's been playing a ton. Again, 11 of his last 12 games, he's been flirting with 30 minutes. A couple times he's broken the 40-minute mark, including just a couple of games ago. He played 42 minutes in L.A., played 39 minutes on Tuesday in the loss against the Phoenix Suns. Nick Clifford has been playing a ton. So while on the surface I'm not thrilled to see why is he only playing 21 minutes, what are we doing here, it's understandable. Okay, maybe we lighten the load a little bit because Nick is probably tired. And there's also that video that came out that I retweeted earlier this week. Michael Redd was talking, I think it was Michael Redd, was talking to Nick Clifford, and one of the things Nick brought up in that video was like, man, my legs are kind of tired, but I'm fighting through it. So
And that's important too, though. Like, some of this stuff they're going to have to fight through, and that's part of the growth process. And you said earlier on, maybe it was like a month ago when we were having this conversation, maybe even more now, when Doug wasn't necessarily leaving a guy like Nick in to give him a chance to learn from those mistakes. That changed. And obviously we've now seen Nick benefit from staying in after mistakes, but also that's had to do with the roster has been depleted because of injuries. So it kind of worked out well in that regard, but you do have to still be careful to not just get those guys out there and say, you're playing pretty much 30 plus from here on out. With what, 18 games to go is there left?
Yeah, 18 now.
Yeah, that's still a lot of games.
It's a ton. Over a short period of time. It's like a month and some changes left.
So I actually like that Jake brought that up, because I did not think about that.
Yeah. It's easy to just look at numbers and not think about the physical toll on it. I know I'm guilty of that. Maxime Reynaud, he's also been playing a lot of minutes as of late. Max played 27 minutes. Now, 26 minutes. I did feel that Max was struggling a little bit in this game to find a rhythm. That didn't surprise me very much. We talked about when previewing this game yesterday that the Pelicans are physical, they're long, and that might be a little disruptive to Max. I'm not going to say Max had a bad game or anything like that. I just think there was recognition of whether it was fatigue or just a bad matchup. Hey, maybe tonight wasn't necessarily Max's night, so he plays just 26 minutes. And here comes Drew Eubanks off the bench with a 15-point, 11-rebound double-double out of nowhere.
That man never ceases to amaze me when he
Shout
comes
out Drew.
off. Yeah, that's got to be hard. Just a little credit to Drew. That's got to be hard to do too sometimes. Is when you're on the bench, you're cold, you're not getting barely any minutes playing. You come off the bench, and credit to him, he's a pro, he's a vet. He comes off the bench and does what he needs to do in terms of being physical, getting those rebounds. Like, that's hard sometimes to think, like, you have no, like, warm-up of any sort, and you got to go get out there and get after it against a more physical type of team like the Pelicans. One more thing I wanted to add about Nick that I did like, because we didn't see, like, his best performance by any means.
Sure.
I loved the fact that he wasn't afraid to take the charge.
Yes, of
I
Zion.
thought that was a great moment, and then he kind of puffed up his chest, and I haven't seen Nick necessarily get animated with things like that, and I was like, yeah, young fella, you get yours. I was excited for that moment.
I think I tweeted out when that moment happened, I was like, Nick Clifford just took a charge from Zion and survived.
And that too, right?
It's one thing to take a charge, it's the right play, just stand there. If Zion is coming full speed or even 50% speed down the lane at me, I'm rolling up into a ball or I'm diving the hell out of the way. That's called a business decision. Yeah. So for Nick to take that charge, that's bravery from a rookie. I give him a ton of credit for that. I also loved off of a missed free throw, Nick had a putback dunk off of a missed free throw. I was like, where did he come from? And he puffed out his chest a little bit on a play like that too. So you're seeing those moments from Nick. Again, only 21 minutes. Would have liked to have seen him play more. I understand if fatigue was a factor. Drew Eubanks, poor Drew started the post-game stuff last night.
Oh, see, and I didn't know he spoke
Yeah,
last
he spoke
night.
before
Okay.
Russ, and he was super nice. Like, Drew's such a cool dude. Actually, funny enough, my first interaction with Drew was during the fall, Jake Gaden, who we just had on our show, CBS 13, is a huge Patriots fan, right?
Oh, that's right.
And he comes in wearing like a Patriots shirt or something because the Patriots were obviously making their playoff run. And Drew is from, I can't remember where Drew is from. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting this mixed up. Jake was wearing a Yankees jersey. That's what it was. Or he was wearing a Yankees jersey or a Yankees shirt.
That is confusing.
And Drew is, I think, a Boston Red Sox fan.
Okay.
So I think before we'd even really met Drew, he was already giving Jake hell for being a Yankee fan, and it made me like him immediately. I do have one question, though. Why do we keep throwing lobs to Drew so much?
That is a good question.
There's a lot of alley-oop attempts with Drew.
There was.
Do you know his nickname? Drew Eubanks' nickname from college?
The Duke of something or another? I remember.
The Shack of Troutdale.
That's what it is.
Oh, really?
I remember Whitey Gleason saying it one time.
Always got to throw a lob to the Shack of Troutdale.
Shack of Troutdale.
That's funny.
Don't know what that means, but that's Drew Eubanks.
Yeah.
But credit to him. I mean, he's been not playing, and he comes in and he provided some good minutes, got a double-double, an efficient 7 of 9 from the field, and then spoke to the media after the game. First time in a long time he's spoken with us. So shout out to Drew Eubanks. Funny enough, like Russell Westbrook had a pretty damn good game.
There. I was just gonna go there.
I mean, it was overshadowed by everything that happened afterwards, but I was not thrilled whatsoever to see, and I even tweeted it out, that DeMar and Russ started the game taking all the shots over the first 4.5 minutes, and in the moment where I'm thinking, oh, okay, the rotations are probably going to be young guy heavy again. I'm looking at this going, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? This makes no sense. But once the game played out the way it played out and the young guys didn't play as much, the veterans played more, okay, again, maybe the charge was from Doug Christie. I'm going to give them the credit or give him the benefit of the doubt and say Doug Christie's goal for that game and message to the veterans in this game was, we need you to carry the load tonight to give some of the young guys a rest. So in that sense, those guys taking that many shots early on makes sense. Russ had 15 shot attempts. DeMar had 16. Precious Achiuwa, we haven't even talked about yet. We'll get to him in a second. Also had 16. But Russ, 19 points, 10 assists, a double-double in 34 minutes. Also had a couple of steals. Russell Westbrook went, I'm actually surprised to see 2 of 6 from three-point range. It felt like he wasn't missing from three early. But regardless, it was a good game for Russ.
I thought the best part of his game was the ball distribution, the assist. I thought he was on it. It was like a little bit of art out there for Russ last night in terms of setting guys up.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, just 2 turnovers for him, which is also great considering you are distributing the ball around. And I was not surprised by it, but I was like, oh, that's a little bit different from what we've seen. And then I wake up and all the stuff happened. That's besides the point. But I do agree with you. I thought it was a pretty good game in terms of Russ and just sharing the ball.
And then there's Precious Achiuwa, who we've probably said 5 or 6 times now in the short history of the show. Precious is going to be on he's going to be on a good team next season. We cannot look at what Precious Achiuwa is doing in Sacramento and just chalk it up to, and he's putting up numbers on a bad basketball team. I don't think that's fair or accurate to what Precious Achiuwa is doing at all. He's been a workhorse all season, has stepped into a role off the couch where he's been primarily a starter for the Kings. 29 points on a super efficient 12 of 16 from the field last night. Also had 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, a steal. Precious was everywhere. These are the last, 6 games for Precious. 29 points, 18 points, 8 points, 29 points, 6 points, 22 points. He's taking over a scoring responsibility with this group right now when they kind of need it and are searching a little bit. He's been playing damn good basketball, and I would love to see him in a Kings uniform next season. I would be surprised if he did return to Sacramento because I do believe we're going to be seeing him wearing a jersey of a team that's probably competing for a playoff spot next year.
If I were a fan coming in to a situation where I was blindfolded, I didn't know anything about this team beforehand, and I was like, watch the last 6 games of the Sacramento Kings and tell me who's the star. Honestly, one of those guys at the very top would be Precious Achiuwa. And I'm not laughing because I say he's not like that in real life. I'm laughing because the story is crazy to think about. That he was, and we've said it before, like he was on his couch. He was doing himself a favor though and keeping himself ready for when the moment came. Like, and it did happen to be the Kings who gave him, Scott Perry, who gave him that opportunity. But it was Precious Achiuwa who has made the most of his opportunity to showcase himself.
Big time.
And I respect the hell out of that because this is your livelihood and no one believed in you. You were sitting on the couch, and I don't care where you went, what team you went to, how many wins they had or didn't have. You're taking it upon yourself to showcase, and you're not just showcasing you, you're helping the team. Like he's a team player still, but he's showcasing what he can do. That's a pretty cool story. And I don't know where he'll end up. I wish it were here too, because I freaking love that dude.
I'm still not, again, fully sure what specifically Russ took issue with that I had said. And we tried to figure it out. And one of the things we are questioning is whether or not he took exception to this idea or this narrative that the Sacramento Kings are tanking.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you this, Precious Achiuwa sure as hell ain't tanking. Like, Precious Achiuwa don't give a damn about a draft pick. Precious Achiuwa is out there busting his ass. It would almost be beneficial for the Sacramento Kings. If the Kings truly, really want to lose games, like Precious Achiuwa might not have to play because that's how well he's playing. That's how impactful he has been. So Precious has been fantastic. I've really enjoyed watching him this season. I'm anxious to see where he ends up. But again, you were to tell me, hey, he's in a Kings uniform next season, he's coming back. I think Kings fans would be very, very happy about that. One thing that I truly wasn't happy with last night, even if the idea was rest the young guys, play the veterans more, Devin Carter being the only active player to not get in the game, I don't get it. I know Killian Hayes just signed a second 10-day contract, so you have a limited amount of time to look at him. And Killian Hayes last night played 11 minutes, 4 points, 1 of 3 from the field, also had 3 assists. Actually, kind of cool. There was a large contingent of French fans in attendance. I guess like a group from France was in attendance. So Killian Hayes went out and said hi to him pregame. Maxime Reynaud did the same.
I saw Max signing like stuff.
So that was pretty cool.
That's what that was. Okay.
But Killian's played. There hasn't really been anything that Killian Hayes has done really that has been all that memorable or all that noticeable to me versus when Devin Carter is out there on the floor, like I see something. And regardless of how much he's in your future plans or not, that's a former lottery pick from just last year who has played around the same amount of games as Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud have in their careers. So I think Devin Carter deserves to be getting the opportunity right now. And I don't put Devin in the same category of Maxime Reynaud and Nick Clifford in terms of needing rest unless Devin's back or shoulder are still hurting him, and we have no indication that that's the case right now. Like, Devin, I don't think needs the rest as much as, like, Max and Nick maybe have needed it with how much they've been playing recently. I wanted to see Devin Carter play last night. I'm not a fan of Killian Hayes playing over Devin Carter.
But this is just the different rendition now, and I know Devin's really not ever gotten a ton of playing time here this season, but it's like a different rendition of Keon Ellis. Like, why is it? But now he's the next man that, like, we don't have an answer for it, and we don't understand it. And again, maybe we never will, but it could just be for the fact that that's not their guy, and they don't see the point of experimenting or putting him out there if they'd rather see more from a Killian Hayes that they want to actually possibly look at adding for depth in the future. I don't know. I'm not the GM. I don't know how they're operating, but I will say this. There has been a theme this year to questions that we just don't understand why these things are being done, and we're not getting the answers, at least right now or during the season. And I didn't expect answers from the front office or anybody right now, but it is okay for us to question it because it is a little bizarre.
I'm very curious what the rotations are going to be versus Chicago. Is it another veteran-heavy game, 2 in a row, to give the young guys a little more rest, or were you very intentional about making it a one-game thing, and now we'll get heavy doses of Max and Neek against Chicago? Will Devin Carter play? I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't, if Killian Hayes is going to keep getting another couple of shots before his second 10-day contract is up. And by the way, after 2 10-day contracts, it's either full contract or nothing.
Yeah.
So he's on his second and last glimpse at least in terms of a audition, I suppose. Not just for the Kings. You have to remember, too, like Killian Hayes, even Patrick Baldwin Jr. to some extent, who's on a two-way contract. These guys are not just playing for the Kings. They're auditioning for other teams.
Yeah.
And a player who's been doing a damn good job auditioning for other teams in addition to trying to convince the Kings, hey, maybe you should put me in a full contract, is Daquan Plowden. I think Daquan Plowden has been very impressive. His three-point shot, that thing has a high arc to it, but it's nothing but net a lot of the time. I like the hustle that he plays with, the athleticism that he plays with. His games haven't been as impactful recently, the last couple, compared to a few before that, but I like the way Daquan Plowden has been playing.
Yeah, and he's, we forget, he's not like the youngest of players.
No.
I think he's like 27.
I think so.
Or somewhere around there.
26,
so
27.
He's been around for a bit, and he's had some opportunities, but this is by far, Matt, I think, the best opportunity for him to get the most minutes and really try to make a statement on what he could be, whether it's here or somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree with you. I think at times he really just gets in the flow, and it is nice to see someone besides like a Malik have that three-point shot that is more benefiting than not for the team. I just wonder like what he could be really future-wise here. I would just say a good depth piece, but he is trying to prove he can make a mark here.
Daquan Plowden is a good example of, again, he's going to be depth, at least for right now.
Yeah.
And he is 27 years old, by the way.
He is 27?
You're spot
Okay.
on. But he's one of those guys where, in theory, if the Kings do what I'm hoping they do at the draft and go out and get a wing like an A.J. DeBonsa or a Caleb Wilson, or, well, Caleb's more of a 4 than he is a wing, but some length on the perimeter, some length and athleticism in that sense, with the hopefully continued improvement and better health of Keegan Murray, and with the full season next season of what DeAndre Hunter looks like. You add Daquan Plowden into that mix. Now you're starting to see, as we said, depth. We're starting to see a bit of there's a larger portion of this team that's capable of doing some of those bigger lineups and having more depth at that position where they've been severely lacking even during the glory years of Beam Team 1 and even Beam Team 2. So I've been liking what Daquan Plowden has been bringing. It's another example of the Kings finding these diamond-in-the-rough rotational players and players who are looking for their opportunity, and they're picking the right ones.
It's the time to do it.
Yeah, and you're giving them the right opportunity, and they're rewarding you. So that was the Kings and the Pelicans last night. Again, the Kings lose 133-123. They are 14-50 on the season. Yikes.
Woof, 50. My goodness.
Yikes. But like we've talked about, there's more games that maybe not the players, but the organization would sure like to lose coming up. Some very important games to lose coming up, including a game against the Indiana Pacers coming up, 2 games against the Brooklyn Nets coming up. So there's still a lot that needs to happen over these final 18 games. But right now, we'll take the break. When we come back, it's time for some football talk. We'll talk a little San Francisco 49ers. Plus, we've got Kayla's 2-minute drill to wrap up this third hour on this Friday. You're listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Jackson Hewitt knows taxes are complicated, and with multiple jobs and tax forms, they're like Sonata complicated. Our no surprise pricing keeps things simple. Jackson Hewitt does your taxes for only $149 or less. And since we know all the new tax codes, you could get thousands back. So what are you waiting for? Hurry. File with Jackson Hewitt today for only $149 or less, guaranteed. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge, and Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
When a person is seriously injured, there's no substitute for the personal legal relationship offered by the local NorCal firm of Ashton & Price. From the first attorney meeting, every important decision is made with a direct consultation with, and I can't believe I have to say this, a real, live, experienced, flesh and blood local attorney. It's called Home Court Advantage for a reason. Ashton & Price, serious local attorneys for serious people with serious injuries with no fee until we win. For the best local advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6A to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
Want the best movie experience in town? Join Sactown Sports IMAX Pass by visiting SactownSports.com. Sign up today. You can win tickets to see this week's films at the Esquire IMAX Theater.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, drive, weight, hair loss, and even ED. Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your T level for free. For your free T level check, exam, and consultation, call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo March 5th through March 8th. It's 2 huge shows, one massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at 2hugeshows.com.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
The offseason continues for the San Francisco 49ers. Kayla Anderson has had her fingers on the pulse of everything going on in this Niners offseason, including questions about whether the Niners should pursue Hendrickson or Max Crosby in free agency. This apparently was a topic of conversation on our friends over in the Bay at KNBR. As of late, Matt Barrows was on the show talking about it, and he said, as far as Trey Hendrickson, they are going to be one of the teams that at the very least is in the conversation. They're monitoring the situation. He's only a year removed from leading the league in sacks. His market will be pretty good. Max Crosby is going to get a lot of attention. There could be as many as 20 teams in that. It could be a situation where the compensation gets out of hand. The 49ers can't match, and they don't have a great first-round pick. So it sounds like while there's obviously interest in Max Crosby, the route to Max Crosby doesn't seem very realistic. Yeah, there's a lot of roadblocks in the form of other teams that are in the mix, but Trey Hendrickson might very seriously be on the table for San Francisco.
Yeah, it's interesting. Matt, when I was filling in this summer on the Afternoon Drive Guys show, we had like conversations in season about like trading for a guy like Trey Hendrickson. And because at the time, obviously we had been seeing the 49ers defense deplete, especially on the defensive line. And so this was a conversation, and then now we have seen Trey Hendrickson go to the free agency market as the Bengals did not give him the franchise tag or give him a new deal. And so what's interesting that Barrows had mentioned, I think Trey, the conversation about Trey has died down for two reasons. Why he's not the hot commodity like he was last offseason. A, because Max Crosby is a free agent, supposedly going to be a free agent, I should say. Is going to have a trade market, I should say.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on here.
Yeah.
So he could be out there and probably is likely going to get traded. But they're going to throw in whatever team it is. They're going to throw in the bag for it. And I just don't think the Niners have the draft capital to give away right now because they have other positions of need and the money to do that at one position. So Hendrickson, on the other hand, in 2025, he was limited to just 7 games because he was dealing with an injury. And so he saw his sack total go from 17 and a half back-to-back years, by the way.
He was a monster.
To, let's see what it was. It was just like a few in terms of his 4 sacks that was his lowest since like 2018. He had 4 sacks last year. So
how much of the drop off is on him, you think, versus how much is the drop off just on the situation and everything that happened in Cincinnati?
Yeah, I mean, the injury is a huge part of it.
Well, that too.
And then a massive drop off from what's going on in Cincinnati. And that defense has really been cheeks the last couple of years. And he held the defense together, that year that he had 17.5 sacks before it dipped this last season. I mean, it was on, like, literally he's the only good player on that defense. So I feel like those are two things why he's not getting as much attention. That's why I think the Niners should be interested. Now, look, he's 31 years old compared to also a Max Crosby who's 28.
Yep.
But 31 years old on a 2-year deal, and I still think he has plenty of stuff left in the tank. He's healthy now. Mm-hmm. I think that should definitely be a route that the Niners go in if it is something they can sign at a somewhat reasonable amount. And let me give you the amount real quick. According to Spot Track, Hendrickson's projected market value is about $25.4 million per year. With the salary cap tracking site, it's estimating he could command a 2-year deal worth about $50.9. So that's a lot. But maybe you could wheel and deal. There's also Jonathan Grenard out there, like I had mentioned, that they could go after too. That's going to be a lot cheaper, but maybe not as high as production as a guy like Hendrickson. So you got to at least try. Like you got to pursue some of these guys that are out there. You have to help out on the edge position. You were lowest in sacks in the NFL. That cannot happen next year if the 49ers want to win something or go deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, certainly not. You can't really expect to compete in that
No.
division with Matt Stafford.
No, and look at what the Rams are doing on their defense right now.
Right. You need to get that edge rush punch back and get to the quarterback and at least threaten the quarterback. Be in the back of the quarterback's mind at the bare minimum. And the Niners really struggled to do that towards the end of the season. What about from the Raiders' perspective when you hear what Matt Barrows was saying about the market for Max Crosby and 20 teams potentially being involved? I mean, that's exactly what the Raiders want, right? They want a bidding market. And what Barrows said in there was, like, the Niners are aware that the price could be driven up to a point where they have no choice but to bow out. Of course, a lot of those 20 teams are probably going to feel the same way. There's only a certain amount that they're willing to put out there. But one team or two teams might be willing to drive up the price just competing against each other for Max Crosby's services. Sounds like the ideal situation for John Spytek and the Raiders.
It is. And it's funny because I've been listening to all the bidding wars that are going on supposedly with Max Crosby. And it's funny, like the Ravens are in the mix now. Like they're supposedly wanting to try to outbid everybody. What's interesting is I had mentioned the Bears earlier in the week, and the Bears were absolutely interested. And I guess according to, I think it was Ian Rappaport, had said that they had offered they had offered like 2 first-round or second-round picks, two second-round picks, but they didn't like the player who was Moore, who got traded to the Bills.
Yeah.
So they were definitely talking about possibly going, having Max shipped out to the Bears, but they weren't happy with the overall package that they were getting back. So I'm sure it's going to happen still probably within the next few days.
You think it's going to be that quick? Teams
I
want to move
think
that quick
so.
just because the draft is looming?
I do. But there's still guys like the Carr brothers, that said they don't think it's a good idea that the Raiders trade Max Crosby.
Do we have that sound, Anthony? Is that sound ready to go? Let's hear from the Carr brothers, including, of course, former franchise quarterback for the Raiders, Derek Carr, talking about the Max Crosby situation.
There's a few positions in the NFL every team on our list right here is looking for.
Yeah.
You got to have a quarterback.
Yep.
You got to have an offensive line.
Yes.
You got to have a defensive line.
Right.
Got to have them.
Yeah.
Okay. The Raiders have one of, if not the best.
Yep.
Okay. Overall, defensive lineman. Playing the run, playing the pass, disruptive, motor.
Yeah, everything.
Aura, leader, heart and soul of your team.
And he's got the tattoos for the
Raiders.
Raiders.
He just has it.
Yeah, he's got a Raider tattoo.
So whatever you...
Maybe 2.
As soon as Max leaves your building, if you trade him,
yeah,
as soon as he leaves your building, there's not only a hole in leadership.
It's a vacuum, a black hole.
There's not only a hole in your heart and your soul of your football team. There's a hole in your effort.
Yep.
There's a hole in your accountability. There's a hole in your defensive end position.
Buddy, tell him.
And so this is my long-winded version of why I think it's a bad choice. And I didn't think I'd have to explain that.
Kind of crazy.
But in today's day and age, well, they would say, well, we have him and we're not playing as well. It's the Micah Parsons kind of thought, okay, I hear you, but he's also on a really nice contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, great points, and I get it. Derek Carr wants him to probably stay there, and he's still invested in the Raiders and what they do. Mm-hmm. But it's a business when it's all said and done.
Yeah, and everything that Derek said there is true in terms of like the presence that he is, the leader that he is, and all that stuff is very, very important. And I don't mean to diminish that in any kind of way as a Raider fan, by the way. But the timeline doesn't match up. Unless Fernando Mendoza comes in and they all of a sudden spend a bunch of money, improve their line, and come out of nowhere and suddenly are this team that's ready to compete with, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers and the Broncos and all these teams in their division, let alone in the AFC in general. It makes more sense for the organization and the timeline that they're on right now to maximize the value of Max Crosby to hopefully get another handful of players. Maybe some of them can be, if you're lucky enough, 3/4 of the player and leader that Max Crosby is. But if you get more of them in the building on the same timeline as everybody else that you're doing, in general, that makes the most sense for success in Las Vegas with the Raiders. But I hear what Derek's saying.
And I get that point, too, of like the heart and soul and like the leader. This happened when there was a lot of people calling for like Jeffrey Simmons to be traded from the Titans, who is the heart and soul of that defense and really the team at that point, because Derrick Henry had been shipped out, many of their big time players had been shipped out. And so there was always that talk of can they afford that? That's a huge hole when you're trying to have some sort of leadership with all these new guys here. But those are the tricky decisions that the organization have to make. And again, Max's value right now will never be higher. Mm-hmm. And so you really have to weigh the pros and cons of that. And I think, by the way, Diana Rossini reported it too, our friend on the show. Mm-hmm. She said the Cowboys are very interested as well. So Jerry might have made a mistake last year with Micah Parsons trying to make up for it. Doesn't that sound like Jerry Jones?
Yeah, oops, we traded Micah Parsons. Oh, we'll just go get Max Crosby.
Sounds like Jerry Jones to me.
Not a bad idea for the Cowboys. I personally would hate to see Max Crosby wearing that Dallas Cowboy blue, but
seriously,
it wouldn't be a bad shout for them, that's for sure. Well, we're not done with the football talk. In fact, we're going around the NFL next. It's time for Kayla's 2-minute drill. All the biggest NFL headlines from the day. Kayla's got them for you. It's Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis, put the frosting on the cake, put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice. With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You can swirl it, you can sip it, but the best way is to share it. Hey y'all, I'm Deanna, a team member at my local Chick-fil-A. And a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and new frosted sodas and floats is how well they go together. You get that bold flavor of the Coke mixed with the smooth deliciousness of the vanilla ice cream. You have a juicy filet and a smooth, creamy float. It's an awesome pairing.
Order a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich and a new frosted soda and float at your local Chick-fil-A restaurant. Real team member paid for their testimonial.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
If you struggle with alignment off the tee, Golf.com's Zephyr Melton has a fix. If you aren't aimed where you think you are, you're putting yourself in a poor position before you even swing the club. Sometimes your brain will play tricks on you and make you feel like you're aimed one way, when in reality you are aligned in a totally different spot. There are only two areas where you get to place your ball before you hit a shot: the green and the tee box. On the green, you always line up your ball when you place it down, so why not do the same thing on the tee box? Try pointing the logo or your Sharpie line down the target line. If you want to get your ball lined up even more precisely, try choosing an intermediate target in between your ball and the distant target, maybe a discoloration in the grass or divot, and then use that as an intermediate target. With that spot picked out, line your ball up pointing right at it. So long as you orient the ball correctly when you place it, you can swing away knowing you're aimed at your target. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
When the final buzzer sounds,
The action keeps going with the Sactown Sports Live event calendar. March 15th, rock legends Jefferson and Starship take the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento, bringing decades of classic hits and high-energy performance. Then, March 20th through the 22nd, Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live storms into the Cal Expo grandstands with massive trucks, big air, and edge-of-your-seat thrills the whole family will love. April 18th, international comedy star Russell Peters delivers a night of sharp, non-stop laughs at Thunder Valley. On May 1st, the iconic James Taylor performs live at Tahoe Blue Event Center for an evening of timeless songs and unforgettable moments. Friday, June 12th, country star Keith Urban brings his electrifying live show to the Nugget Event Center in Reno. And on August 16th, Kane Brown takes over Ironstone Amphitheater in Murphys for his summer night packed with chart-topping country hits, concerts, comedy, and can't miss live entertainment. Find your next big event now on the Sactown Sports Live events calendar. Join Sactown Sports downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In Shape Fitness Kings Rally towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
Tune in every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Toyota Tahoe Report with Johnny Mosley and me, Elena, bringing you the latest weather conditions up at Tahoe. Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Football never sleeps, as everyone knows, and the football season might be over, but football season is never really truly over. There's just not games being played right now. And if you want your fix of NFL news, you don't have to go to the NFL Network. You don't have to go anywhere else because we've got Kayla's 2-minute drill, where our NFL expert here at the station, Kayla Anderson, will catch us up on everything that's happening around the league. Take it away, Kayla.
That is right, folks. When you hear that music, you know it is time for the 2-minute drill. Let's start off with this because there's so many headlines. I can't even fit them all in, but I'm going to try to fit as many in as I can. Not Cam's jam. That is right. Cam Jordan, the defensive end of the New Orleans Saints, he's pretty much like the guy for them. He is, we were talking about the franchise guy, the guy that everybody says is the heart and soul. That is and has been Cam Jordan. He is set to be a free agent. He's 36 years old, which is mind-blowing to think about because he still has pretty good production for the Saints. He spent 15 years in the league. He became the sack leader for the Saints at the end of 2022. He has 132 career sacks, but it looks like he's going to be moving on, which is wild because he's always said he wants to finish his career in New Orleans. They worked his pay and kind of tweaked it last season. He even said like he'd take a decrease in the base pay in terms of then getting incentives for maybe like sacks. He had 10.5 sacks last season, which is not bad. It's his best since 2021. And again, he's 36 years old. So the question is like, where will he go? I'm sure he'll end up on some team for like a 1-year deal. But what I took out of this is I'm kind of just sad that they can't just make it work for one more year at least, and he can retire a Saint, because that is unheard of really any sport, to have a guy be there for that long and not get to like technically retire the right way, not coming back.
I think one-team legacy players are always really cool stories.
I know, right?
From Kobe never leaving the Lakers to, of course, what Steph Curry has been with the Golden State Warriors, right? Like that legacy, playing your entire career for one team and being synonymous with that team, I think is really special. So I agree. And typically in a lot of these situations, you'll see the team almost not bite the bullet necessarily, but go, this is our way to pay homage to you and thank you for the work that you've done. So I'm surprised New Orleans isn't figuring out a way to work this out, but maybe Cam Jordan still has desires to be incredibly competitive and get as much money as he can, and New Orleans doesn't think he's worth that. So it's disappointing, but we'll see where Cam Jordan ends up.
One more thing on that's fascinating about Cam Jordan. Wait to hear this. Do you know he's played 242 out of 243 games in his freaking career as a defensive end?
That's nuts.
What are we talking about? The only game he missed was of an eye orbital injury because he literally probably couldn't see, and it was, again, just one game.
That's crazy.
That, to me, is a reason you just are like, okay, we're going to bring you back. Let's work it out. That's insane.
Keep him away from electrical substations.
Yes, please do. End of Edmonds. That is right. Bears are releasing. The Bears have done a lot in this offseason.
They've been active,
right? They've
man.
been really
Wow.
active. Bears are releasing former Pro Bowler Tremaine Edmonds, the linebacker. He's been a full-time starter in each of the last 8 seasons that he's been playing. He will be a free agent. He's got about 900 tackles. And like I said, this is a piece that they can part with, because they have to part with things to be able to add to certain other aspects of their team and what they need right now. But think about this. You had DJ Moore that was traded, the retirement of Drew Dahlman that I talked about yesterday, that retired at 27 as their center, and now the Edmonds release. So they have saved $44 million in cap space. So the question is, where are they adding pieces now? Are they going to add them on offense, defense? We said they were in the mix maybe for Max.
Mm-hmm.
So Bears are an interesting piece right now.
The Bears might be the most fascinating team for me this summer, with the amount of moves that they're making and what they're trying to build upon last year, how they had that breakout season, but they clearly are not just trying to be the Washington Commanders from a couple of years ago. They're looking for sustainable success, and the blueprint's right there, but they know they need pieces. I mean, that's a team, when you see a team that's this active, you know they're going for it in some capacity. I'm fascinated to see what the Bears look like by week 1.
I really am too. I mean, I really do think they're going to be a team to contend with next year. It's just like, how are you working to improve that team? They clearly have a vision in mind. All right, hunting in H-Town. That is right. Defensive end. We talked a lot about defensive ends today. Danielle Hunter just got a 1-year contract. This is nice. Worth $40 million. He got a contract extension. Just for 1 year.
That ain't nothing.
Isn't that nice? It's what Lane Kiffin's group is making down there in Baton Rouge. So this is a second extension after signing a 2-year deal originally with Houston after coming over from Minnesota. He has 15 sacks this past season, which was 3rd in the NFL. 3rd in sacks since entering the league, just behind Garrett and Watt, which Myles Garrett and TJ Watt, which is crazy to think about, because we don't hear Danielle Hunter's name that often, but he was a massive part of Houston's defense last year and why they got where they were. So he's getting his bag, and rightfully so. He keeps proving himself.
Why only a year, though? Like, is it just because they're not convinced that he'll necessarily be able to sustain that success beyond this next season, so they want to hedge their bet a little bit?
Yeah, it's always part of it, because he originally signed a 2-year deal. So I think part of it is also he kind of wants to be there. But someone had put on Twitter that he's doing something similar to what Kirk Cousins did with his contracts. And that did not go over well.
No, it didn't go great.
That did not go over well. So I can't remember who said that, but didn't really hit the mark there.
Hopefully it'll work out better for him.
Exactly. And finally, I thought this was crazy. I just actually saw this come down a short while ago. I covered him at Ohio State when he was a player there, won a national title there. And Taylor Decker, the Lions left tackle, who has been a phenomenal piece for the Lions and a big piece of why they've had success on that line for so long. They're releasing him. He requested a release. He's the team's longest tenured player, and he's now on the market. I guess they couldn't come to a deal because he wanted a certain amount of money. Clearly that wasn't working, and they were like, okay, we're going to request or grant your request to leave. So he's a little older, obviously, but that's a piece on the market that will be probably gobbled up pretty quick, because, again, left tackles, they do not grow on trees. And this is a guy who's proven time and time again that he's been successful with the Lions.
I may have totally missed it earlier in the show with everything that's been happening today. Did you mention at all about Geno Smith and the report that the Raiders are going to be?
I did.
Yeah, I missed that. I apologize.
Yeah, they did. I didn't put it on my 2-minute drill. Like I said, there's so much that's come out, but that had just dropped before we started the show.
I am so relieved as a Raider fan to hear that, because
he is not going to be a Raider next year.
This idea, and it's not like a hate on Geno thing. It didn't work out here, obviously. Right. What worried me about it is this idea that I always thought was foolish and silly, that, no, we're keeping Geno here just in case we're like, Fernando Mendoza's not ready to start week 1. Fernando Mendoza better be starting freaking week 1. I don't care. Like, you don't have to ease him in. He's the franchise guy. You're not
That's
a very
like,
good team.
come on now. I don't need that.
If when I heard even the possibility of keep Geno Smith around so he can start next season, you can ease Fernando Mendoza in. My brain broke.
And your blood pressure went up. And by the way, the Raiders open up $8 million in salary cap space, while taking on, however, 18.5 in that dead money, baby.
Yikes.
Yep. But you know what? Gotta move on.
Geno will be just fine. I wonder where Geno ends up too.
He'll be a backup somewhere.
Yeah.
There's plenty of teams that could use him as a backup, and he'll be a good backup.
He
has for most of his career was a backup.
You don't think he gets one last
starter?
Start? Like where? Like as a placeholder in Miami or?
Yeah, it's hard right now to say.
New York?
Jets? Maybe.
Ugh.
It's just not a great situation. I see him more as a backup somewhere. I don't see him as a starter at this point. But then again, we're talking about bringing back old guys to play, like Kirk Cousins. Like, Geno's not young, but he's not that old.
No, he's definitely not that old.
That's my 2-minute drill.
Kayla Anderson always keeping you up to date on anything that is happening, everything that is happening around the NFL. It's always busy all the time. Of course, we're going to continue to be closely monitoring this Max Crosby trade situation. Hell, by Monday's show, when we come back after the weekend, we might have a Max Crosby trade to talk about even. And like I said, I'm very fascinated about the 49ers and how they approach this offseason too. The balance between spending that money in free agency and going for those big swing win now players versus what we've heard so many Niners reporters, experts talk about, the possibility or the likelihood of the Niners prioritizing the draft and prioritizing going young in that next generation of talent. I'm really interested to see. And the correct answer is they probably do a bit of both.
I think so. You have to have some balance. And don't forget, if free agency is coming up. The new league year starts March 11th, so next week, I believe. But you definitely need a monitor there, too. I think they're 100% in the mix for free agency in terms of one of these wide receivers. Just who will it be? Like we've spoke about Romeo Doubs. I think that's highly likely a situation that could unfold in favor of them and adding a guy like them or him. And so there's several different areas they're going to probably add in free agency and then try to figure everything out else with the draft.
I'm trying to think of anything else, if I remember anything else happening with your Seattle Seahawks since the news of Kenneth Walker III. Like they're not going to franchise tag him, so he's going to be a free agent. And that was like the biggest story from them. But they seem to be keeping awful quiet over there and enjoying their Lombardi Trophy and also enjoying a impending sale of the franchise. So I'm sure that's taking precedent right now. But I'm a bit surprised how quiet it is up there in Seattle.
That's the thing. Like when you win something like the Super Bowl, and John Schneider, the general manager for the Seahawks, like John Lynch, is I think one of the best in the business right now. And so there's little tweaks and things that they have to do up there, but primarily, if you look at the team right now, there's not a ton that they need to change. But again, there's just those minor little things and by the way, they have a ton of cap space too. So I agree they're lying low a little bit. You haven't heard them connected with much, but they've got to figure out situations. And with Kenneth not being there moving forward, again, they're going to have something they do with the running back position because Zach Charbonnet he'll be healthy, I'm presuming, to start the season, but you got to have more there. By the way, they were pretty much a two-back system most of the year till the very end.
Well, according to ESPN, the Browns are making some money moves. They are restructuring, according to sources, the contract of Deshaun Watson. That ridiculous contract.
I thought that was over. I'm just joking. I know it's still like a thing. He's just...
Well, they restructured it, and it's a significant restructure because it frees up close to $36 million in cap space for them and also makes them team cap compliant ahead of the new year. But, I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money in one of arguably, if not the worst contract in NFL history, but at least the Browns were able to find a little bit of, $36 million ain't no pocket change. So they've freed up a little bit of move to address the billions of issues that they have there in Cleveland. So
it's crazy to think, by the way, that Watson might not ever and probably will never play another down in football in terms of the NFL at least. And to know he had missed out on, he had taken those, a couple years off before he signed that contract. The whole thing might go down as the biggest blunder in sports history for the Cleveland Browns. And that's saying a lot considering the Cleveland Browns blunder a lot of things or have blunders on their resume, whatever you want to say.
It's been a mess to say the least. Well, we've got 1 hour left in the show. We're going to combine a few topics in the next long sweeper segment. Prospect watch for the final weekend of men's college basketball. The biggest names will be in action. Who are they playing? So games to watch, to keep in touch with, along with, of course, Kings and Chicago Bulls on Sunday. We'll do a last preview of that game. Plus, in baseball, before we talk about the World Baseball Classic, which begins for Team USA today, the MLB Pipeline released their power rankings. Where do the A's and Giants fall in terms of farm systems? We'll go over all of that to start the final hour of the show before we're joined by Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles, the Drive Guys, for a little crosstalk. It's Matt and Kayla on a Friday, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes! There's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Have you tried my Colombian tamales?
Yes, but the Mexican tamales I brought are way better.
Colombian tamales wrapped in plantain leaves are unmatched, you know.
But the Mexican tamales wrapped in corn husks are the authentic ones.
At least we can agree that they taste better with Pepsi.
Without a doubt, tamales deserve Pepsi. No matter what tamales you love, enter for a chance to win a year's worth of groceries. Powered by Pepsi. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or over. Ends April 5th, 2026. Rules at pepsipromo.com/free groceries. Pepsi is a registered trademark of Pepsi Go Inc.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo, March 5th through March 8th. Hundreds of boats and RVs, all in one place. From wakeboard boats and pontoon boats to motorhomes, fifth wheels, travel trailers, sprinter vans, plus fishing boats and ATVs. It's 2 huge shows, one massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at 2hugeshows.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports 1140.
Kyle told you to do this thing,
Oh,
and you listened to him. Well, Anthony, it's been nice having you on the show, bud.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed
Dang it. I forgot it. I always forget about it.
Yeah, and it's just...
It was on my list of things to do.
Well, some things you don't have to listen to.
Mm.
Some things you can just like, no.
I think it's kind of fun. This might be my favorite thing I did.
Well, it's nice working with you, Anthony.
I love this song, I guess.
Yeah,
Right?
it's so great. It's so wonderful. Woo. We are in for a pretty fun weekend of college basketball, both men's and women's, as we're, believe it or not, at the very end of the college basketball regular season. But, oh, don't you worry. The madness is about to begin. Conference tournaments followed by the madness. So we got plenty coming to in the near future. But this weekend, we got some pretty big matchups. We were hoping that in this huge UNC versus Duke game that Caleb Wilson was going to be back to be able to play in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like he was going to be questionable and was working to be able to play against Cam Boozer and not just one of his fellow top prospects in the draft, but the top team in college basketball and the Duke Blue Devils. And, well, unfortunately, we got the news earlier today from Shams that Caleb Wilson has broken his thumb. He is going to need surgery. He is out for the remainder of the season, including March Madness, which is a real bummer. The good news is, though, this should not have any sort of impact on his draft stock or anything of that nature. It's not like, oh, he'll be ready to go by training camp. No, he'll be ready to go during the pre-draft process.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be ready to go to compete in the combine or do whatever he has to do for the combine, do individual pre-draft workouts and stuff like that. So I don't think this is anything to be concerned about for Caleb Wilson outside of, it's disappointing that we won't get to see him in the tournament. And that's a crazy thing to think about. A true freshman who's going to be a top draft pick who, man, that's so sad even saying, never got to play in March Madness.
That's
crazy.
And that's the tragedy of being a one and done. And look, they got to do what they got to do. And, they have the talent to do that. So you can't fault them. But there are those things that happen, and unfortunately, you don't get to experience something like that. And I know if anybody would want to, it would be him. Yeah. He's been just one of those players this year when you've watched him, and I haven't watched every single game by any means, but when you do watch him play and the initial injury that he had and saying that he wanted to be back and everything, it's awesome to see the love and the passion for the game with players like that. And nothing against Darren Peterson, and we'll see where he ends up. That was the one thing that I had a hard time with this season with Darren, and not the athleticism, not the talent. I'm an all kind of person in terms of a player. I want to see it all. Yep. I want the full package, and I've seen that with some of these other players, like a Caleb Wilson. And that's why it's like DP, he has you just leaving wanting a little bit more out of it. And maybe he'll be able to show us that once he gets to the league, and I'm sure he will. But, yeah, I feel bad for Caleb in a way, because I think if anybody was going to be out there and try to play through something, it would be that guy.
I know Caleb is intriguing for so many Kings fans because, in a way, if you go back to, not that you want to make decisions based off of what you needed 3 years ago when you were a playoff team, but Caleb Wilson would have been perfect for what the Kings were looking for. The Kings desperately needed a Caleb Wilson against the New Orleans Pelicans when they lost to him 6 times the Beam Team 2 season, right? And being naturally 6'10", a natural 4, the idea is you'd be able to easily slide Keegan over to the 3. You add a true 4 in that spot. The one thing about Caleb Wilson that I think is concerning, and rightfully so, he's extremely athletic, really good defensively. The floor spacing is a concern because of the shot, right?
Sure.
So if you're planning on playing him next to Domantas Sabonis, assuming Sabonis is still here, if Sabonis is not, and it's like Maxime Reynaud, unless Max is now stepping out and knocking down that perimeter shot more, that is something that Caleb will have to develop more at the NBA level if he wants to be the most effective version of himself. That's one of the primary reasons why there is a pretty significant gap in my mind between AJ DeBonsa and Caleb Wilson in terms of a ceiling and star potential. But this injury should not, unless something changes in the next month or so, or a few months, I don't think this injury should impact the fact that he's going to be a top 4, bare minimum top 5 pick in this year's draft. And if he ends up in Sacramento, I think Kings fans should be very, very excited about that.
Yeah. Who was our guest yesterday? I'm blanking because we've had so many guys on our No Ceilings NBA.
Corey.
Which I thought Corey did an incredible job, by the way. But he spoke extremely highly of Caleb Wilson yesterday as well, and said, I think he even said like he had him like pretty high.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but even like number 3 or number 2 or something.
Number 3 on his board. What I took away from our conversation with Corey yesterday from No Ceilings. He was like all about Cam Boozer to Sacramento. Like he was like, Cam Boozer is what Sacramento has been needing.
Yeah.
And I'm a little more skeptical of that. Now, Corey, of course, pays a hell of a lot more of attention to the draft than I do. I pay a hell of a lot more attention to Kings basketball than he does, and rightfully so. But he talked about how this organization has lacked stability for so long, and that's what Cam Boozer is, right? He's just been stability, and one of the things you hear talked about Cam Boozer the most is he's literally been a winner everywhere he goes. Of course, he's the son of Carlos Boozer. He's been around the game his entire life, but won at the AAU level in high school, is on the number 1 team in college basketball right now. Again, I'm not there yet. I'm not there where I'm like, oh, Cam Boozer would be the absolute perfect fit in Sacramento. I do have, I wouldn't even call it a concern, more of this is the time for the Kings to go make a big swing and go big fish hunting, and Cam Boozer is probably going to be a very, very, very good basketball player. But Corey said, like, if you're looking for someone that's going to make you stable and relevant for 15 years, Cam Boozer is that guy. So that's hefty praise.
It's funny, too, because he said that, and I understood what he was saying. And it wasn't necessarily funny because I just did the simulator, and at number 3, Kings take Cam Boozer. It's funny he said that, though, and the first thing I thought of is we had just had a conversation maybe on why we weren't giving enough credit to Cam Boozer. And one of the things that I had mentioned was he does bring that stability, and he does bring a guy that can maybe handle the weight of the organization right now and being a guy you can count on, because he might be 19, is he 18 or 19? I can't remember.
Cam, 19, I think.
Yeah, 19.
He's 19.
He's 19. He might be 19. I feel like I'm always talking about a 25-year-old when I talk about Cam Boozer.
He looks like it and plays like it.
He really does. And sometimes I feel like because I think that, I automatically am like, God, he's old. Yeah. And then I forget he's like 19 years old.
It feels like Cam Boozer's been in the league for 3 years already.
Right. And so
he's just a free agent.
He's just a free agent,
who's
exactly.
being taken on draft night. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's the first thing. When he did say that, I did think, okay, yeah, that part does make sense. But I think when you're here in Sacramento and you're seeing like best available and like most talent and all that stuff, the 2 other players, Peterson and DeBonza, are above him in my eyes. But again, then you can't be upset probably if Boozer comes here. I think it still would be a really good situation. You're just going in a little bit of a different direction of how you're building.
Yeah, and
he's actually 18. I was wrong.
He is 18?
I think he's 18.
See? I was like, I feel like he's even 18.
19.
Me too.
Wow.
18.9 years old.
July 18th, 2007.
He'll be 19 by the time he's drafted.
Yep.
Right.
Wait, July or June 19th?
July.
So he might not be 19 yet. I don't remember when the draft is. It's early July or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Regardless, he'll be 19 when he starts the season, right?
Just because Cam Boozer might have the lowest ceiling but the highest floor.
Yeah.
Ceilings are what you draft for, right? Ceilings, because you look at something and you immediately look at the absolute maximum, the best that they could possibly be. You don't want to think about the middle or the low. You want to think about the high. And I think it's pretty understood, or believed at the very least, as much as we could possibly know by looking at talent, that A.J. DeBonza and Adrian Peterson in particular are, I keep doing that. He's not a freaking quarter or running back, Matt, you moron.
What did you call it?
Adrian Peterson. Darren Peterson. You're not drafting Adrian freaking Peterson.
Oh, I'd love to see him in a running back role. That'd be interesting, to say the least.
Darren Peterson. I think you see them and you see that ceiling that is so unbelievably high in the star potential that's there, which again is what I think the Sacramento Kings are free to chase at this point and should be expected to chase at this point. But that doesn't mean they're going to reach those ceilings. And if Cam Boozer at 100% of his ceiling is better than these other 2 reaching 80% of their ceilings, then Cam Boozer, like, you would not surprise me at all if you were to tell me, hey, I'm from 5 years in the future and Cam Boozer is the best player in this draft. I wouldn't be shocked at all. In fact, everything that we've seen in terms of his basketball career would suggest to us that's the way it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You're more drafting those other two guys because of pure talent, raw upside.
Drew, it's funny, Drew down in the YouTube chat, which, by the way, we had some new guests in the chat today.
Yep. Shout out to everyone.
Yeah, so it's funny. He says Wiseman had a high ceiling. And it's so funny you say Wiseman, and I know what happened and everything. And I can't tell you the amount of times we talked about him down when we were in Tennessee and just the red flags with that guy. It was like one after the other. And there are so many players like that, but like Boozer is like the epitome of like what you want in terms of on and off the court and his dad and the pedigree and everything that goes along with it. And you had mentioned the Pacers are a good fit, which is funny because they are a good fit when you think about like what they have now.
Yeah, where they're at as a franchise.
Where they're at as a franchise. And Halliburton is obviously not playing this year, but he will be next year. But it is funny to think because Halliburton's the star. Like, he's the guy. And Boozer comes in, though, like, how does that function, too? Because it's like Boozer should be, in other places, the star right away.
Right, and there's also, the Pascal Siakam element of it, too, where I think everyone would pretty much say the Pacers are Tyrese Halliburton's team, but Pascal Siakam was arguably their most important player during that finals run. Now, Tyrese stepped up and hit some huge shots during that run, but Pascal Siakam was more of the steady presence. And I understand there's a concern of, well, Cam Boozer's likely a 4, Pascal Siakam's a 4, you just got Zubats at the 5, you just traded for him, so where's the fit for Boozer? But if you were telling me either you could find Boozer a way to play a big lineup with Boozer at the 3 or bring him as your 6th man off the bench with how good he is right away, you're damn right they should be in the title picture. So I love Cam Boozer for the Indiana Pacers if they are able to stay up high and keep hold of their pick.
You booze, you lose.
You booze.
Is that a good one, too?
You lose.
Booze, you lose.
Kansas, of course, Darren Peterson, not Adrian Peterson. Darren Peterson in action
DP
against Kansas State this weekend. Darren Peterson's coming off of a really interesting game in the sense that he did not shoot the basketball well. His shooting percentage was really, really bad. And since he's started playing a higher uptick of minutes, the shooting numbers have not been as great. But what I liked about Darren Peterson's game last time out was he impacted the game in other ways. He had 4 assists, which is good for him. I think he had double digits in rebounds. I think he had like 10 rebounds, something like that. I don't have the stat line in front of me. I'm just going off of memory. Had a few steals. He was very active in other areas, which is good to see. It's nice to see, okay, if you have a night where you're not just scoring, do you do anything else? Are you impactful in other ways? And he was in that sense. But I think if let's say in this game, Darren Peterson were to play 33 minutes and score 32 points on like 50+% shooting, I think we would hear nonstop just, there he is, he is, number 1 pick, it's over, it's done with AJ who? Like, that's what I think we would start to hear from a lot of people. We're still waiting for that breakout game, but over the course of 2 halves, not 1 half.
DP is an interesting guy right now in terms of everything that's happened to him. And I know there is still the narrative out there, too, that he is truly dealing with injuries. I still can't 100% buy in on that. I don't fully believe like he's still injured and that he's maybe he is. I'd like at some point some clarity on like what the hell is going on, because then why are now you playing in 30+ minutes if you're still kind of banged up?
Maybe it's the importance of the games in this time of year or the pressure.
But that should have been that should have been it the whole entire time, because the national media just started to really come down on him after that, I think it was Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
And then everything kind of changed. It's like, well, then you should have just still done the things you were doing.
The outside noise really got loud.
I don't like that look either. But we want to see Darren Peterson score. That's the reason why you are, for so many teams, the number 1 guy.
That is his superstar skill.
And so as much as I like seeing other parts of his game that he can maybe do that, that's not why you're going to be picked number 1 overall.
Yeah.
So these games that are left, whether it be this game with Kansas State, which you should dominate, by the way, if you're Kansas, and DP should have a good game, and then the tournament, and then the NCAA tournament, I still really need to see some things out of Caleb. What did I just call him? Am I right?
Caleb Wilson?
Yeah, no.
You mean
What
Darren
am I?
Peterson?
See, now I'm doing this.
It's all these names. They all mix together. Darren Peterson.
I still want to see more with the remainder of the season. My verdict is not set on him yet.
Yep.
If the Kings draft him, that's awesome, whatever, but I still have so many question marks about this guy.
We're just
it's
waiting.
Fascinating.
We're waiting for that offensive explosion. We're waiting for that
Caleb,
showcase.
DP, Derek, whatever.
Whatever he is. He should be, or in many people's eyes, he might be the number 1 overall pick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm concerned about BYU. They're now unranked. They're taking on number 10 Texas Tech. They've been on
that's not gonna be good.
Yeah, they've been on a massive slide. Just try and keep this game competitive. I know AJ DeBonsa at this point is more about his individual numbers and how good of a game he has versus how good of a game BYU has. But as we've talked about a lot this week, I'm getting to the point where I'm not concerned or worried or backing off on my belief that AJ DeBonsa is the best player in this draft and who I would want the Kings to take if they had the number 1 overall pick. But I am certainly monitoring the fact that, yes, I know BYU lost one of their best players and their best
Richie
shooter.
Saunders.
Yeah, but like AJ, when are you going to start like really impacting that winning? And he did a lot earlier in the season, but as of late, the last month, 3 weeks have been pretty rough for BYU.
It will be interesting to see how he kind of bounces back. Again, I understand a guy like him who's played the minutes he has this year and that grueling Big 12, schedule. I am giving him a little bit of grace right now. I really am, because I just feel like you're at the end of the regular season. You still need to be the best player for your team, and you have a lot of eyes on you, whatever it might be. But he is human, and it is towards the end of the season. I almost expect maybe there to be a little bit of a bounce back once the NCAA tournament hits, and really it's all or nothing. It's you win or you go home type of scenario. So I get what you're saying, though. It does mean something that they've been on such a spiral, but I think there's a lot of other things that come into play.
It's judging players based off of the success of the program that they play for is so interesting, because you want to give Cam Boozer in that sense, like he is the leader of the number 1 team in college basketball in the Duke Blue Devils. Like you want to give him credit for those wins, but the draft is so individual based, and AJ's game has just been so multifaceted in terms of that mid-range jumper looking as good as it does. Sometimes he gets a little bit out of control. He's been struggling recently taking care of the basketball.
Turnovers have been a thing lately.
He's been turning it over a lot.
But Matt, don't you feel like, because he feels the pressure 100%, like he feels like there's more pressure now because he's without his guy?
Yes. The way he's playing is 100% like, I have to do it all. I have to do it. And that's not that he doesn't have trust in his teammates, but look, BYU may have one of the top guys, but that doesn't mean BYU is a top program. And they're paying a hefty amount of NIL money in order to get AJ DeBonsa to be there. So the expectations for BYU as a basketball program are not the same as the expectations for Duke. But Cam Boozer and AJ DeBonsa individually will be pitted against each other and judged based off of each other. And if there's an advantage that Cam Boozer has, that's significant. He very much impacts winning on the best team in college basketball. And AJ DeBonsa has put up great numbers. And yes, I very much agree. Over the last few weeks, he's had to be like, it's me. Like the assists are up, the rebounds are up, the turnovers are up. He's trying to do a little bit of everything. But that does matter. That does matter to see a team fall off as significant as BYU has this season, even though AJ's been pretty steady. It's not concerning again, but something to keep track of.
Yeah, I think so. But I still think that I'm on your wavelength in terms of AJ is probably my guy still at this point in terms of who I'd like the Kings to get if they have the opportunity to. I just think overall the guy would fit here. I think he'd fit here perfectly. Again, he's got to grow in a lot of aspects of the game. But I think he's a good fit. As long as he doesn't go back to college.
He's not.
I still think that whole thing was so weird.
Yeah, I don't believe it for one bit.
I'm like, come on now.
I'm not worried about it.
What are we saying?
I don't think it's a narrative. It's worth being a narrative.
Right?
I think it was a comment.
Going back to college?
Yeah,
come on.
I don't believe it for one bit. I believe I know what Kayla Anderson is going to be spending her weekend doing, though. Watching her boy. Her new draft crush, Darius Acuff, out of Arkansas, as number 20 Arkansas will take on Missouri to wrap up their season. What are you looking for from? I mean, he's coming off of a phenomenal performance against Texas, where he got that glowing review. from, I'm blanking on his name, but a Texas head coach.
Sean Miller.
Thank you, Sean
Yeah.
Miller. He's got a lot of momentum into not just the tournament, but the conference tournament. Like, this is a time where if you want to leap up draft boards, a lot of eyes are on Acuff right now.
You're right, because first of all, and I don't think I mentioned this enough yesterday, because the Big 12 is the best conference in basketball right now, in my opinion. But covering the SEC over the last 8+ years in Nashville, that conference has made leaps and bounds and is absolutely one of the best conferences in the country, and will put in a lot of teams this year to the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
So competition on every night is pretty good down there in the SEC too. But unfortunately, Acuff has, he had been dealing with a little bit of a nagging injury that, by the way, he played through and has been playing through. And again, to each is your own in terms of how you plan or try to deal with that. I just like players sometimes that, play through it a little bit. And he is now, I think, 100%. And so I think we're going to see some really good basketball as long as they continue to keep their season going out of this young man. What I want to pose to you, because I heard the conversation yesterday on the Drive Guys, they were talking about the point guard position this year in the draft and how they, I know Whitey's really high on Kingston Flemings, but I know Allen is really more so not as high on any point guard for the Kings this year.
Yes.
And a lot of it, and I've mentioned this even with Flemings, is the size of these point guards. And they're not extremely big. And I think like the average size of the guys that we're talking about is about 6'3", 185, 90 pounds.
Yeah, Kingston Flemings is maybe given a little bit of love at 6'4", but
yeah,
undersized for the position currently, but not small.
But not small, because they were comparing him to Darius Garland, who I can say firsthand because I covered Darius and know him. He's small. Like he's not a big point guard. I think these guys, in terms of Acuff and Kingston, and I'm not trying to slide on my guy DG, they're better. And so I don't know if that's really fair to say, man, these point guards, they're not maybe worth the Kings getting if they come to that spot.
Yeah.
I think you can't necessarily pass them up if they're at 5 or 6 and one of these guys are there.
Yeah, I don't think you can pass them up necessarily, but I will, in the sense of where I will agree with Alan, is I think it is more ideal for this team to add size right now. And if they can add the star that they've been looking for that has that size, I think that's, I wouldn't call it the top priority, but I think, at least for me and Alan, maybe the most ideal scenario, considering this team has lacked size for so long. And I believe, from what I understand of who Scott Perry is as a general manager, I believe that's more of what he's looking for.
Yep.
But it's not like, well, I'm not taking Acuff or Kingston Flemings at 5 because I don't want a point guard. Like, you're at that point, you take best talent available.
Sure.
And you can argue between the two of them who's the best talent, but you don't go, I don't need a point guard because I've got whatever here. And what do you have here for the future, right, at that point guard position?
And plus, by the way, we had a convo, I think it was yesterday. All the days are adding up because I can't believe it's Friday. But we had the convo about an outdated Kings offense and how specifically, that three-point shot that other teams have, we don't necessarily have here consistently. And in terms of Acuff, at least,
that's his superpower.
Dude, if you watch him, it's just like such a natural thing. And you would have that.
A 43% three-point shooter on a volume of 5.6 attempts per game. Like, that's nuts. That's nuts.
Yeah. So there's that side of it too. So, but I get what you and Alan are saying, and I wouldn't disagree with you.
Yeah, I think it's just
on that as
positional or size preference, but not like you have to do that necessarily. Sure. For context, by the way, because I just want to look at this. So Darius Acuff, we said, is shooting 43% on 5.6 attempts per game. Yes. 5.6 attempts per game.
Yep.
This season, Steph Curry. Oh, maybe this isn't a good comparison. I didn't realize Steph was taking 11 threes a game. Never
11
mind.
threes a game?
Yep.
Okay.
No, that Steph just different. I was going to compare it to the volume that Steph shoots, but Steph is just different. So, Matt, don't force a comparison there. But I personally am trending more towards Acuff over Kingston Flemings in terms of the best, most talented point guard because of the offensive superpower.
agree.
But I do understand, especially if Doug Christie is going to continue to be the head coach of the Kings and Scott Perry and Doug Christie are aligned in this defensive physicality vision, I do understand the defensive shortcomings of Acuff and how that might make you lean towards Flemings if you're going to go point guard in the draft.
Yeah.
At least for the Kings.
100%.
So, because
I get it.
that defense is important, and being able to play perimeter defense in the modern NBA is essential to being able to stay on the floor. Kings fans and players know that very, very well. We'll take the break. When we come back, a little bit of baseball talk. Team USA begins their World Baseball Classic run against Brazil today at 5 o'clock. Plus, the MLB pipeline power rankings are out. Where do the A's and Giants fall in terms of their farm systems? We'll discuss next before the crossover with the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason and Alan Stiles. It's all to wrap up another week of the Matt and Kayla Show on Sactown Sports.
The Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter right to your email. Get your latest on the Sacramento Kings, athletics, and Republic FC with the Sactown Sports 1140 newsletter. Visit SactownSports.com to join.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply. Get ready, Sacramento. The Sacramento Boat Show and Big RV Show is taking over Cal Expo, March 5th through March 8th. It's 2 huge shows, 1 massive event. Don't miss it. Get details now at 2hugeshows.com.
Spring is here, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings, plus get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
You got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13, and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is the sound of Jack, buzz cutting his way to a small fortune. To Jack, every time he cuts his own hair, that's $50 right in his pocket. If Jack sees DIY buzz cuts as a saving strategy, Wells Fargo is right behind him. And with their mobile app, tracking his savings is easy.
Oh, ouch.
However you make money work, we can work with that.
Mobile carriers' message and data rates may apply. Wells Fargo Bank, N.A., member FDIC.
You remember me from a show called And Joe? I'm back on the radio, Sacramento. It's Joe Mommy, and when you need your new country fix, join me weekdays from 6A to 10 for the Pat and Cody with Joe show on New Country 105.1 KNCI or on the free KNCI app.
10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports 1140.
The World Baseball Classic has officially begun. Actually, technically started yesterday. The pool play that began over in Japan for one of the pools, where Korea beat the Czech Republic 11-4. And today, Australia beat the Czech Republic. Or sorry, this was also yesterday? What? Yeah, the times are all
weird.
It says
right
both
now,
these games happen on March 5th, but I don't think Czech Republic played a doubleheader. But could be wrong. Either way, Czech Republic lost also to Australia 5-1. Today, a major slate of World Baseball Classic games. Mexico defeated Great Britain 8-2. Let's see what else we got. Japan won 13-0 today.
Dang, who were they playing?
Who is this? Sorry, let me double check because I'm trying to hover over it and it's not saying. Chinese Taipei.
Okay.
13-0 today. And Shohei Ohtani went 3 for 4 with a grand slam.
That guy is unreal.
He's insane. So Japan off to a big start. Of course, Team USA begins tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific with Rockland's own and San Francisco Giants ace Logan Webb on the mound against Brazil. This is a game I'm not going to predict a stomp. I'm not going to predict anything like a blowout or anything like that. But we saw in an exhibition game, granted, the A's destroyed the Brazilian national team. So Team USA should be able to handle business tonight to open up the World Baseball Classic. I want to see Logan Webb put on a show. The A's power bats get going, Team USA's power bats get going early on. Get off to a strong start because, damn it, I'm invested. I'm invested in the World Baseball Classic this time.
I think we've been here on the show just pumping this up. So MLB, give us some money in terms of maybe helping your future of your league here moving forward.
Yeah, we got you.
Right?
We can do the publicity.
We can. We love baseball here on this show, and that's why I'm so excited for the summer, by the way, just having the A's in town. But yeah, I think for Team USA, the biggest thing about this team is the bats. And really, that's how the DR is going to be too.
Yeah.
The Dominican Republic that's right there with them. Pitching is so weird with the World Baseball Classic because they just don't get to go that many innings. So you have to kind of more base it on what your lineup is. And that is definitely the thing that is putting USA above all the other teams right now is because of their bats. So we saw them do it in the game. What was the game that they were playing as an exhibition game?
The Giants? Against the Giants?
Yeah. So we saw them do it there. They've got to get off to a hot start with Brazil, which looks like it could be probably pretty easy considering the fact they got completely demolished by the A's.
Yeah, just start strong.
Yeah.
Right? Just make a statement.
Yeah,
by the
make
way,
it fun.
the Dominican Republic also begins pool play against Nicaragua tonight, and Puerto Rico is also in action tonight as well. So lots of...
On Fox, right? That is where you can watch at least Team USA.
Team USA is on Fox. The Dominican Republic is on FS2.
Got it.
Or FS1
probably.
FS1, whatever it was. Their alternate station, but yes, it's available for you to watch there. I'm going to be paying attention to the Dominican Republic too because I think that team is just stacked and fun. But in terms of like sending a message, it doesn't necessarily have to be Trout or Judge or Raleigh or the top guys, but I would like to see look what Japan just did, right? Make a statement in that sense, make it a drubbing, make it a blowout, and I think it speaks more if the bats of USA just top to bottom get rolling Like, not that I don't think Logan Webb's pitching is important. We're also going to have Paul Skeens and Tariq Skubal that are going to be pitching, granted, limited starts for Team USA in the near future. But the offense is what, in theory, is going to win it. And I want to see that offense showcase themselves early on against Brazil.
It's interesting, too, because I'm on the YouTube chat, as we always love everybody's thoughts and opinions on there, and appreciate you guys for tuning in almost every single day. And some people may not care about it, about the World Baseball Classic. And my question could just be like, maybe, are you a baseball fan? If not, I get it. But I do think that this is probably one of the cooler things in terms of like the preseason, because spring training is spring training, and there's not much you can take from the games in spring training. Let's be honest, guys.
It's ridiculously hard to follow.
It's hard to follow. There's a lot of just prospects that are in the games, or half the time the guys are only playing a couple innings. I think what's cool about this, and what we should, if you are a baseball fan, at least try to tune in and check it out, is it is pretty competitive with some of these countries and what in terms of the lineups they're putting out there, like we just mentioned with US. And for them, it's great because they're getting that like real like training instead of quote unquote spring training. This is actually like a game,
meaningful games.
So, and it's a chance for us to root for the US again. I still got some of that juice in me left with
the Olympics,
and the team winning it all and winning the gold medal. So just kind of another chance to feel good.
Go back and take a few minutes to just look up highlights or moments from the last World Baseball Classic and look how much it meant to everybody. And if it doesn't hook you there, then it's not for you. That's totally fine. But what stands out to me about the World Baseball Classic is how much it matters to these countries. And I hope it starts to matter that much to USA and Team USA, but ultimately you get those competitive juices flowing a little bit, right? Like maybe the Dominican Republic's crowd is way more invested into the game when the Dominican Republic plays compared to USA, but the USA competitors will be paying close attention to that. And if the game is back and forth, if the game is tough, it's competitive, there's, mess talking that's going to be talked because there's a lot of the MLB stars that are spread throughout these teams, especially on that Dominican Republic roster. When it matters and you get meaningful baseball, that's where you get those moments, and that's where you get the most prepared for opening day in the MLB, which is a handful of weeks away. So I love the World Baseball Classic. I'm very excited to get invested into it this year again. 5 o'clock, Team USA against Brazil today. Logan Webb on the mound for Team USA. Of course, Rockland's own and ace for the San Francisco Giants. The MLB pipeline is where I, as an A's fan, would hang my hat on many, many years. Well, the team's blah, but at least our farm system's always good, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
The MLB pipeline they always put out their top 100 prospects, and then they put out their farm system power rankings. So ranking 1 through 30 who has the best farm system in the league. I don't know much about the Milwaukee Brewers farm system, but they're doing something right because they are number 1.
Yep.
And this, when I saw this, I just rolled my eyes. The LA Dodgers are number 2. The LA Dodgers, who are stacked at the top, also have a stacked farm system. The Dodgers just do everything right, man. Everything right. So the LA Dodgers are number 2 in terms of farm system. I'm not going to lie to you. We have to scroll down quite a ways before we get to both the A's and the Giants. By the way, your Seattle Mariners, Kayla, are 8th in terms of farm
that's not
system.
bad. Okay.
So a really good farm system in addition to a really, really talented roster that is expected to make some noise this season. And shout out my computer that is just locked up and frozen because I have to reopen this to see how much further down we have to go before we get to the A's and the Giants. I can tell you it is in that order, but I don't remember specifically where both of them are at. But the A's do have a prospect in DeVries, who is one of their, is the shortstop prospect that we've heard a lot about, whether or not he's going to be called up to the A's and to the major leagues this season. He's the guy that they acquired in the Mason Miller trade with the San Diego Padres last season. He's ranked the 4th best prospect, period, in Major League Baseball. So that's exciting for the A's. But as for where they fall in terms of the rankings, in the power rankings of the MLB pipeline, the A's are 18 and the Giants are 19. So back-to-back, right next to each other, the A's and Giants in the MLB pipeline. Like I said, Leo DeVries is the number 4 prospect, the top prospect for the A's. As for the San Francisco Giants, their top prospect is Bryce Eldridge, who we heard
who we talked about.
Yes, Alex Pavlovich joined us yesterday and told us a lot of great stuff about Bryce Eldridge. He's looking to step up in a major way for the Giants this year, potentially. The first baseman, he's ranked number 25 in terms of the top 100 prospects. We will take the break. When we come back, the final crossover of the week. Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles, the Drive Guys join us. And there's plenty to talk about here before we call it a weekend and they just get going. We appreciate you being with us all day long. You've been listening to Matt and Kayla on Sactown Sports.
The San Francisco 49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
Touchdown 49ers! Every game on your number 1 sports station. Don't miss the action on your local sports leader. Sactown Sports 1140.
Co-hosts of the wildly popular Bad Friends podcast, Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee.
Wow, I can't even believe that this is real right now.
Yeah, dude.
I feel like this is a scam. It's going to explode on you.
No.
Live Saturday, March 14th, the venue at Thunder Valley.
Do you know what the 3 colors on the Irish flag stand for?
What?
The hair, the skin, the soul.
Oh, is that what liquor does to your soul?
Yeah, turns you green.
Buy tickets now. Visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee.
Oh, this is like...
That's top notch.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find. Happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Join Sactown Sports Downtown before every Kings game and pick up an In-Shape Fitness Kings Rally Towel while supplies last. If you walk, lift, stretch, or sweat, you belong. Start the year strong and join today at InShape.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
It's Matt George and Kayla Anderson on Sactown Sports 1140.
Kayla and I are minutes away from our weekend, a weekend chock full of college basketball that we're excited about. The World Baseball Classic we're excited about too, beginning tonight. We just talked about that. Kings and Bulls on a Sunday. Certainly got some business to take care of in that game. But now we are going to pass the torch over to our friends, the Drive Guys. Whitey Gleason, Alan Stiles. Whitey Gleason wearing the old school Sports 1140 KHDK shirt.
I say bring it back. I want to see that.
That's my childhood right there.
Really?
That
Yeah.
logo is my childhood. That's what I used to listen to.
I love old
The
school.
Rise Guys were on every morning, and I turned it off.
Rise Guys Ron?
Yeah, no, the Rise guys were on.
Or were on. I was like, what?
Whitey was part of the famous Wise Guys.
Wise, that's a lot to say, right?
It is. It
Wise
is.
Guys.
Alan, how about this? I wake up today. My wife says, "Happy Friday." Russell Westbrook's mad at Matt George. I kid you not. That's the first. Happy Friday.
Oh,
Russell
wow.
Westbrook's mad at Matt George.
TMZ. I mean, it's everywhere.
Oh, it's on TMZ?
Yeah, it is.
Wait,
Hearing
what?
my name in the first 5 words in the morning has got to be pretty rough to start your day. So I apologize about that.
Yeah, that's quite the alarm clock.
Yeah. Somehow I wasn't surprised. The way this season's been like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I addressed it on the podcast, addressed it a lot in today's show, handled it about as well as I would expect to handle it. I have not been on social media too much. I know there's not a lot of happy people over there, which is to be
As
expected.
a stunner, huh? As a shocker.
Yeah, shocking, believe it or not. To put pretty much Spark Notes version on it, I stand by the things that I said. I'm not sure if what specifically that I said that caused the reaction from Russ specifically when he was talking about like twisting narratives or coming at the team in any kind of way, because I don't necessarily.
The one I loved was false context.
False context.
I've never heard of that. I don't even know what that is.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what it could have been. I hope to get the opportunity to talk to Russ on Sunday, but that was certainly a experience. I told people kind of the joke, but in real life too. Now I understand what it's like to try and play one-on-one with Russell Westbrook, because the stare, boy.
Right.
I saw that Russell Westbrook stare.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk a lot about it on the show, and we got Deuce Mason coming on at 2:30 as well. Whitey got Deuce, but but yeah,
Thanks for clarifying.
I think the big thing as far as my takeaway was, a lot of people. I don't say this smug or anything like that. It's just the protocol of how you're in there, and you got 3 people from PR staring at you. You got to raise your hand like you're a kid in class to get the mic. And now in your specific situation, I thought 2 things, and well, a lot of things, but the 2 things that I'll say here, and I'll save the rest for the show. The 2 things I'll say is, number 1, you didn't ask a question. So I think you went into it thinking, if this dude asks a question, I'm gonna let the chopper sing.
Yep.
Then he maybe thought, what if he doesn't ask a question? I'm going to just go at him anyway. So it wasn't as if you said a question and then he barked back. So you already have the mic. You're already prepared. That's number 1. And the second thing is, I went back and I listened to it today. And I will say, if people that get out of the whole you hate the media thing, unless you don't hate the media, because you go back and forth with us. Sacramento's apparently the only market that's too soft on the Kings, but too hard on the Kings at the very same time. It's very impressive that the Kings are like that. Whitey and I, we were just having a great conversation about this a couple days ago. So the second thing I would say is, if you objectively watch that, if you objectively watch the clip when Russ says, because I just watched it again, when Russ says something to the effect of, well, what do you think? And he points to Matt, gives Matt about 0.5 seconds, and then says, are you in the locker room? Are you this? Are you that? If you genuinely think that Russ was there to have a real conversation with Matt, you're off your rocker. That wasn't what the whole situation was. He wasn't there, and I heard you earlier apologize. You're better than me. And everybody, on social media, we know the Westbrook fans, they don't come to the shows.
Let's
they don't
clarify
do that.
something really quick.
Okay.
There was no apology. There is no apology for the things that I've said. I don't know what he thinks or what he feels that I said, which I would love to talk to him about.
Yeah.
But the things that I have said in terms of being critical about him.
Right.
And I don't think he brings value.
Yes, I heard you say
play.
that too.
There's no apology there. I'll stand on that, and
Right.
I'd be happy to talk to him about that, because that's how I feel from a basketball standpoint.
And that's
that,
the
to
whole
me,
thing.
That's in the lines of basketball.
Yes.
If it got outside the lines, if there was anything personal that he felt, that's what I want to have a conversation with him about, because that's not what I'm about.
Yes. So he was not there to actually let you sit there and talk, because I would have a completely different thought on it if he said this. What about you? And just let it sit. He wasn't trying to let you have a convo. You don't have the mic. You didn't ask a question. So I just thought the whole thing was a bit disingenuous. And yeah, that's just kind of how I feel about it. And the last part, to your point, if I say to you, the whole false narrative thing, then it turned into he's protecting the young guys. I said, from Matt George? From Matt George, who wants them to play 45 minutes a night? Well, who is he protecting the young guys from?
Play them until the tires fall off.
So if I say, Russell Westbrook, I don't want you shooting 17 times in 21 minutes, that is not a narrative. That's my opinion. And I don't have to eat a tough steak to know it's a bad steak. We know we didn't play in the league. We know all that. You got eyes. Russ is a fashionista, right? Or a fashionista. I don't know the term. If you like something, Russ, did you make it yourself? I know he's got his own brand, but when you're walking around Paris or wherever and you grab some clothing, are you not allowed to say whether you like it or not because you didn't make it yourself? So I just think that to me turns into a cop-out. And the one thing, and I'll leave it here, 70% of Sac media has been here before Russell Westbrook. 70% of Sac media will be here after Russell Westbrook. And that's all I got to say.
And I'll save what I have to say for once we get rolling.
Yep.
But I just thought the whole thing was bizarre, really. That's not, what was that? It was inappropriate and it was, unnecessary.
Well, it happened. I look forward to hopefully having a conversation with Russ on Sunday against the Bulls. I'll certainly be there.
Well, yeah. Would love to have him. Hey, biggest star the Kings have had in how long, Matt?
Since tomorrow, I guess. But
yeah,
certainly the biggest name that they've had since Vince Carter.
I was going to say, biggest brand. No disrespect to DeMar.
Yeah, since Vince Carter.
Would love to have him on the flagship station. Hasn't happened. So, I'd love to have a relationship with Russ. I think we all would.
I think that's what's tough about this, too, is you guys talk to him in the locker room, right? But we're the flagship station of the Sacramento Kings. And what's crazy to me, coming from the flagship station of the Tennessee Titans, is we got players all the time that would come after Victory Mondays, which was far and few between, by the way, towards the end of my tenure. But regardless,
that's how they got around it.
We would get, but they would make an effort, even in losing seasons. And I'm not trying to poo-poo on the Kings organization right now. I'm just saying it was better for us then, because we did build a relationship, at least our radio people that weren't necessarily out there all the time or couldn't be out there all the time. We were able to build some relationships when they would come on the shows, or player would come on the show. And then you kind of knew us and we knew you a little bit better.
Right.
It is hard to not have that necessarily.
Yeah.
So,
and look, it's an evolving situation.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of players on. Just Russ in particular, we haven't. And maybe we're not here if that's the case. But the dude is one of the most global brands, one of the biggest brands in the history of the game.
I also have to give a ton of credit to Chris Biederman.
Yeah.
Because Russ basically was bullying everybody that was in there. I wasn't there. You were there. And I understand why you probably taking stock of things. I don't know what to say. I can see how I would have been the same. And Chris Biederman, stepped into the breach.
Yeah. I went back and forth with Russ. I answered his questions. And he then moved on to Chris, who had the mic in his hand. And he eventually did come back to me. And that's where the biggest criticism that I've gotten today is, you were there face-to-face with him, say what you got to say. Again, I personally felt like that would have not been the right or appropriate thing to do. I understand if people go, so then you went home on your podcast and made it content. Look, if I thought that was the correct way to handle it, just like addressing it on the show, and I stand by that. If people disagree,
I understand that.
That's totally fine.
I think that's totally understandable.
There was a back and forth between me and Russ. It started the whole damn thing. He pointed me out. He found me and pointed me out. And we went back and forth. He asked me those questions. Then it went to Biederman, who also is not afraid to speak his mind. And Russ seemed to think that Biederman also had things to say, which is pretty funny because Biederman doesn't really say anything.
He asked the key question, like what? What did I say? Well, I don't want to go down that route. Yeah, that's where the whole thing unraveled.
And that's why that's where this whole thing. All right, man.
Yeah,
we're not really trying to have a conversation. Right. You saw probably.
They should have just sent Keon Ellis out there.
Well, yeah. Well, they tried. I mean, they sent Drew Eubanks, so that they did do that.
Double Drew.
Yeah, obviously you launched the Matt George podcast. Matt and Kayla's doing great. And what happened was we've been cutting stuff a lot, right? You're all over social media. I still don't know what you probably said. Again, that is out of bounds. If you think Russ playing 40 minutes is not good, that is X's and O's.
Yeah,
that's not a narrative. That's an opinion. We don't know.
That's the crappy part. And that's why I was hoping for his sake that he could just have a conversation with Russ. But again, Russ, that's.
But to me, it's over now. Matt can have a conversation with him Sunday, but that to me, and he's done this before, right? Yeah. I saw somebody say this is Russ's yearly when the team is doing bad. Yearly, let me poke out somebody in the media. So
I just don't like you. Remember that?
Yeah.
I just don't like you.
If Matt, if Matt and Russ figure it out, that's all fine and dandy. But to me. Those are the situations where I'm not saying apologies would happen, but that type of stuff happens in silence where Matt, as a brand and as a reporter, he has to deal with this on the large stage. And if anybody knows the power dynamic that's going on, it's Russell Westbrook. And he knew that. This is not people. Well, go at him. This is not First Take. Like what do we think?
Exactly.
What do we think this this is.
Well, having a conversation with Russ is important for me for two reasons. And if he doesn't want to have it, that's totally fine. But I'm going to try, and we'll see what happens. But having a conversation is important for two reasons. One, I see all the comments out there, and for own personal pride's sake, I ain't ducking from anything. I've been at every single game. I've been at almost every single media availability that Russ has ever been at. Asked him questions before. This is the first time anything like this has come out, period. Maybe I'm not in the locker room or in practice every single day, but I'm around when I'm able to be around. I'm there at every single game. I'm certainly not hiding now. So that's number one. Number two is, if there was something that was either taken out of context or I did say that I did not mean or am not proud of, that Russ can point out to me, that we can have a conversation about, and I can own whether there's an apology or not.
Right.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is important on
Absolutely.
all sides. Russ, I don't think Russ was out of line to do what he wanted to do. Some people do, some people don't.
I do.
He made it public. I've said things publicly. It is what it is. But ultimately, he and I kind of have the same goals. At least I think so. He wants to win in Sacramento. I want the Sacramento Kings to win. We just don't believe in the same way of that happening at this point. And that's what it is. But I appreciate everybody who is able to at least listen, whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Shout out to Kayla for being an amazing co-host through this really weird situation. Shout out Anthony for filling in as our producer and board op extraordinaire back there. I'm looking forward to the weekend. Looking forward to hopefully Kings Bulls on Sunday, getting the chance to talk to Russ. Monday comes around and we just keep on pushing. And I'm grateful for that. Shout out to everybody who listened all this week, all those new listeners today. I hope you'll stick around, especially for the Drive Guys. Alan Stiles, Whitey Gleason coming up next on Sactown Sports.
Peace.